This is it's quality content, man. Where else you gonna get
dirty creamer bastards? Go somewhere else. You want to talk about phone book? I got a show for you.
Phone book, the most relevant conversation to this age.
Oh yeah, in 2024, is there anything anyone's talking about more than a phone book? Man, thankfully we're here to make that happen. All right, here comes the show, everyone. Thanks for hanging out and being here in the chat. Everybody at home, thank you for being here as well. It begins, if I can find mine. There it is. In 3, 2, 1.
I offer you an Accord.
The all-new 240 horsepower Accord from Honda.
Hello, everybody. Welcome to Core, the only video game podcast without the pay-to-win mechanics you all hate so much. I'm Scott Johnson with Bo Schwartz and John Jagger, and we are here again to talk about the world of gaming. I will warn you now, we're not talking about a dude in a red suit and a pair of sunglasses and goofy hair.
Santa? Cool Santa?
Cool Santa is not coming up.
Say it ain't so. What happened with Santa?
Oh,
what happened with them?
The elves, they've had it. They're going to rise up. Who knows? Beat him to death with a wooden shoe. I don't know what you do. I don't know what you do. If you revolt in
the elves fairly.
That's what I mean. If you have a revolt in the North Pole, what form does that particular? What does that take? Are they?
I assume he's not giving enough gingerbread to the elves.
Oh shit!
What do the elves do anymore?
Waste his time.
Like, do they like? I always picture him making like wooden toys and like maybe as complicated as an Etch-a-Sketch, and nobody asks for that stuff anymore. So what exactly do they do?
I don't know. They make microchips at Foxconn now. Well, they got their own little Foxconn annex.
Oh, is that what it is?
Oh, okay.
Microchips together.
Okay, so they do. They have expanded their skills. They can make a GPU.
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, the crypto and all that.
Dude, you should see them put together like the new iPad. It takes like 2 minutes.
Yeah, it's nothing for them.
Also, like, you know, they're contacting Epic. Like, got another kid wants V-Bucks.
Yeah.
Got to get a Fortnite skin for the holidays.
Oh, that's the other thing. How many? There's no standard way to collect these, but all the kids that write letters to Santa every year. I'd love to see what the percentage of those letters are about, like stuff they want in Fortnite or Minecraft or Roblox or something, you know, as opposed to whatever they used to ask. What did we used to ask for? Electronic thing or a console?
Stuff that was cool. Not
there's a
lame
video game
stuff.
console and skateboard.
Like what the kids ask for these days.
Yeah.
Lame stuff.
Yeah, probably lame stuff because their dad
I'm sure our parents thought it was all really cool, like we did.
Oh, I guarantee it. You want a ColecoVision football game, do you, son? Yes, sir, I do. I'm sure they thought that was not a waste of money at all.
I remember getting Mario Paint for Christmas one year, and that was like one of the best Christmas gifts I ever got.
I got Mario Paint too. That's a good one. That was a good gift.
Yeah, I like that one.
High five.
Well done. Mario Paint Brothers. The Mario Paint Brothers.
Yeah.
Well, anyway, we're here. We got all kinds of stuff to talk about. By the way, if you're a patron out there and you're going, oh man, where are these bonus shows that I've been promised for the month of June? We're about to make your life crazy. Okay. Bo made 2 of them. I have 1 in the can. John's not involved because he kept up and did his deal. He already did.
Yeah.
Responsible young man.
Yeah,
sure
John,
you're on the right program.
Bo and I are like making up for lost time here a little bit. So you're about to get just slammed in the face with a bunch of extra content, and it's going to be great. So be prepared for that. We'll put this up first. You'll have enough time to hear this one through, and then bam, off to the races. Rubber meets the road. Let's go.
Well, that's core content this week for you guys.
Damn straight. Let's get into what I like to call our main topic. Like the least appropriate music for this, but
no, but it made me excited. I perked up.
Oh, good. It's right out of
we
7.
We want an Elden Ring mood, not a Final Fantasy mood.
I want to be in both moods.
We're gonna be dealing with Tour for like weeks.
Sure.
Like, enjoy this time while we can.
Yeah.
Okay, you're right.
I got a one of my favorite. I'll probably play it again at the end of the show. Where is it? This one right here. It's one of my favorite lines from the movie or the game.
The mad taint.
I had forgotten how magical
Change.
that opening sequence is.
The loathsome dung eater.
That he gets so out of his mind excited by the end of it. And he
My favorite line in that intro, when I was streaming, it just cracked me up, is there's a part where he just goes, oh, like Hank Hill.
Yeah.
Out of nowhere, he's just like, oh,
Yeah.
tarnished.
I think I have it.
Makes me laugh every time.
I think I have it right
Kind of
here.
sounds like, if you because they never show the narrator. I'm not even sure who the narrator is in the game, but he might be like doing a nipple thing while he's saying those things.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like you get this real grody vibe where he's just like really likes what he's saying.
I found it. So in the subtitles it says arise, but he didn't say that. He kind of like does what John did. Anyway, I'll play it. Here it is.
Oh, rise now,
Yeah.
be tarnished.
So it's like
Oh.
Oh,
Yeah, he's got the nipple thing going. Oh.
I love it, dude. It's one of my favorite things about it.
So good. It's one of my favorite line readings ever. Although, seeing as we're talking about this, there is a YouTube link in our document, Scott, of my favorite line in Elden Ring.
Oh, let's pull
and I
this
heard
up.
it so many times my first playthrough, and I'm sad I didn't hear it because I beat him first try this time.
Oh.
But I want to play it.
First time. I'm impressed.
Yeah.
Okay, so this is which boss is this? Can you say, or should I just play it?
It's Rykard.
Okay, so Lieutenant.
It's when he
Colonel-
kills you. Yeah,
Okay.
Serpent King.
All right, here he is.
Now we can devour together.
So good.
What does he say?
Well, one more time. He says, "Now we can devour the gods together."
All right,
but
here we
he
go.
says,
Now we can devour together.
The voice work in the game is really a trip. Everything in it's a trip. There's stuff like this.
Greetings, traveler from beyond the fog.
Yeah, we get not Melina. What's her name? Melanoma.
there's Melina. There's a Melina. There's a Melina.
Yeah, I think it's
Mikella.
Melina. Yeah,
There's a Mikella.
and I'm
And also
as you noticed, I'm recording clips of a very early part of the game because Scott is so bad at Elden Ring that he spends a lot of time looking at the guy on the horse, looking at the little burned out little village of people.
yeah, let's talk about your message. So you said we were like in Discord today. Sorry to call you out like this.
No, you did. Please do.
So Scott, where are you at with your Elden Ring game? And you're like, I got through the dog cave with the dog boss, and I don't even know what you're talking about. I got to be honest with you there. I don't.
No, I knew. There is a wolf. It's the very
okay.
first cave you come to. It's got the wolf boss, and then at the end, it's got like a rat. It's like a beast man that eventually becomes a regular enemy, but at that point, he's
maybe.
a boss.
He is he's a boss, but you're right. He just looks like a rat man in there, but he's much harder than that. And you always know when you're about to do a boss, obviously, because in this game, you got to go through this little pea portal thing, the big yellow,
Right,
blink at a
the
pea,
wall, the piss wall.
the piss
Yeah.
wall. Then you go in and then you fight. And I died probably 12 times to this guy. He's probably the easiest. I know he's probably the easiest thing in the game. I'm sure of that.
Yeah, you're.
But here's what I'm doing.
for-
Let me tell you my approach this time around, because I am doing the thing you said, which was you play this game. I'm paraphrasing, but you play this game like you go shopping. You're kind of looking for what you want, and you see something. You go, okay, well that might be a little much for me now. So if I don't, I can come back here. So you know what? I'll come back. So hold this here. I'll go away. I'll do some other things. Ooh, got a bunch of runes and spent them on upgrades and leveled up 3 times. Right. I think I can go back now and look at that. And then even when I'm looking at it again, I kind of have to, quote unquote, try it on and go, oh, that swings that way. And that's only after 2 of those, at least in this phase. So, it's a lot of that more methodical approach to it. And I have to admit, as bad as I am, there's something to that approach that's actually very fun. Like the whole game is designed to slow you the F down, because so many games now are just pew, 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 bang, 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 hack slash, let's go. And then stuff, flying everywhere and you walk out of the dungeon in 5 minutes and you got a bunch of loot and then go rinse, repeat. This game is decidedly one that says, what if you just slowed all the way down and really paid attention to every little nuance of a character, of a thing in the world, a thing you don't know that's sitting on a rock. You've never seen it before. You don't even know if you're supposed to touch it. So be careful. Go up there. Be smart. that guy on a horse isn't just going to get off his horse and die in 5 seconds. You're going to have to really think about that. Those kinds of things.
The game also intentionally is messing with you as a player.
Right.
Because you said, I'm at the horse boss, and I'm like, you're not at the horse. Like,
not the real horse boss. No.
He's there to punish people who don't understand what's going on. He's a torture device. Like, if you were new to Souls-like and you got out and you're like, there's a boss, I guess I should fight him next. He's in the new player area. He's right here. The game wouldn't put anything too hard for me to accomplish right at the start of the game. The answer is yes. That's what he's there for.
He's the Void Reaver, basically.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Kinda.
Yeah, I mean,
The Fel Reaver. The Fel
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 Reaver,
Reaver from Burning Crusade. Although, yeah, those are still, you can't ever soul them until the next X pack. Like, but you can come back and beat this guy, but not now.
Right. Right. And there's a feeling of like, should I stay here and fight him again, or should I? If you really stop and slow down and forget about the usual thing, which is there's a marker on your map, please run to it and do the thing it tells you to do. It will be at level for you or whatever. Instead of giving you all that stuff, and this feels like, these are conversations we probably had in 2021 or whenever the game came out. I don't remember now.
Right.
But
2 years.
But there is something about the methodology of the way you move through this world that is the game. Like that is meant to be the game. It's not meant to be bam, 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 story bit, bam, 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 story bit. You get those, but you get them in a different way. They're super obtuse. Like, who even knows what these people are saying? Every time that girl shows up at my camp, she's just talking absolute nonsense, at least right now.
Well,
Which
I do
one?
because
Oh,
I
no.
spent 15 hours watching lore videos this week.
Oh, my God.
Oh, did you find those 12-hour long lore videos on YouTube?
I found a bunch of lore
So
videos.
there's a 3-part lore video, and each part is 12 hours long by like some doe or something like that.
Yeah, that could be because I know
I've been
someone.
watching those.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I saw someone say like, "Hey, this is my quick summary of the story." They said, "Now, as you know, I've done multiple lore videos working out to about 35 hours. This will be a condensed version." I was like, 35 hours? What are we doing here?"
I mean, it's way detailed because it's all based on research, right? Like, it's not like they're regurgitating a story told to you. It's like it comes from items and inferences based on, like, there was a section of I watched that was classifying the different types of architecture and which races would have made them in which eras, right?
Yeah.
Like, it's not like they're written anywhere. They're just classifying the designs that the people developing the game made. They clearly picked like aesthetics that are reminiscent in our world, right? Like Moog has like a Greek aesthetic, whereas like the Crumbling Azula has more of a mausoleum look to it, made by Beastmen. Comparing the kind of tools and weapons they have and inferring what kind of you know what I mean? It's so beyond detailed. Like, it's not, to say it's the story is almost ridiculous. It's like it's the lore. It's like literally a university course on
Yeah.
the totality of the fiction implied in the environment.
Yeah, implied's
The
a good
actual
word
story,
to use. Yeah.
if you were to watch all the quest dialogue and like get the story from the NPCs, it's maybe 20 minutes. Like,
It's not
that,
long.
like,
Probably won't make the most sense in the whole
Yeah.
world. It's mostly people just telling you what to do, and then
Yeah.
you do it.
Yeah.
yeah.
There is a lot of
So-
that. You're right. That's one of the things I guess I'm paying more attention to now because I'm a huge fan of that storytelling style. The reason I like Fury Road so much is it's just a visual feast that you are then meant to build a world in your head based on very small
think
clues, and I love
it's-
that.
It's like how we talk about Doom. It's more of a vibe thing. Like,
Mhm.
I don't think there's a good word for it, but like when you do this kind of, there is a vibe you get with playing. You get immersed in it. It's this weird heaven, right? It's the lands between. To me, I kind of think of this almost like a place after death, kind of like it's not a real world.
It's like purgatory,
it's
man.
yeah, or it's like the Outer Planes and D&D or whatever. It's like some weird, strange, dreamlike fugue, and so everyone being that way also makes sense because I'm just this small fry vying for being the king of the world, and the world is like completely rotten and decayed. So it goes mostly for vibe, and that's enough for me, man. Like I think just having a literal story almost it won't ruin it, but like I just don't need it to be about oh this person betrayed that person and now I need you to avenge me. Like it feels more like my story because I'm just like here's a weird world. No one explains anything to me, but it feels like it really might have existed. At least I can suspend my disbelief enough when I'm in the world to feel that way. So the vibes are off the charts.
It's what you said
And I
last
saw-
week about the problem you guys have with Doom, and you hope that the new Doom doesn't fall down the well of
Yeah.
trying to overtell itself.
Yeah, like we
just
want
be a
lore
vibe.
and stuff. Like we want that. Like we want the vibe and all that work. I just don't need the story. Like you are the legend, and we fear the coming of the legend, and all this like filleting games.
Yeah, I actually feel like to me the best way to experience Elden Ring from a narrative perspective is play through the game, take as much or as little as you want. Then once you beat the game, then see if you're interested in doing a deep dive with the lore, and then play the game again.
Yeah.
I actually think it serves it better to have already experienced it and then learn the lore, especially because the Elden Ring stuff is so complicated. Like not just in how they give it to you, but like there are characters that have almost the exact same name, but they're different characters. And sometimes they just lie to you and say that their character is one name when it's really a different name. Like, and they're all very similar. And it's really, really hard to keep that all in check. And I think like telling somebody to worry about it on their first playthrough, it's like, don't worry about it. Just go in, do what the quest givers tell you to do, have the experience, don't worry about it. And then if you want to do a deep dive on the lore later, like there's also really cool, really interesting lore there too. Like I haven't devoted this amount of time diving into the lore because I find it uninteresting, but I find it interesting in retrospect. Rather, and I think maybe that's part of the reason why so much of it is lore that has to be pieced together instead of being told to you, because I think it is more interesting in retrospect.
Yeah.
I think it's less interesting in the moment.
Yeah, I agree. And I don't know, it just reminded me of that Doom conversation. Maybe they'll back off of trying to be so specific and force feed us a lore and instead just give us that vibe, have it be thick and heavy.
And you need to get to that vibe. I think the big thing why we're like pushing plays because Limgrave is the most like it's pretty. It's depressingly pretty. I know Omega 9 is in the chat room and he's talking. He's saying, "Oh, I can't. It's ugly." And I'm like, there is kind of a Renaissance painting vibe.
Yeah, that's the whole point.
Ugly, but they're capturing their beauty. Like it's the point. But if you can't get into it, you can't get into it. But it is beautiful. But you get to awesome places like Nokron. Like Limgrave is like Limgrave ain't shit. Like I snapped at that screenshot of that place John hates. It's a lake of scarlet rot. It's just like think of it as if you could pool disease into a lake. Like you could pour like cancer into a giant like reservoir and just look at it. That's what the place looks like. It's awful, but it's so detailed and well done, and you feel that way. You feel like this place is awful.
And then they tell you, okay, now walk through it. You're like, what?
Right. Yeah. So like it's like, but the thing is, like Elden Ring's a thick game. So the DLC came out last week. People who prepped their characters in advance were definitely very smart because I'm playing through the game. I'm not rushing through it. I'm playing it like it normal. I still haven't gotten to the DLC yet. I think I'm almost eligible. I've done the Vari quest and I can teleport to Moog basically now and do an attempt and get to the DLC. I'm like imminent, but there's just so much square footage to traverse. And I like to I can't leave a zone without finding every catacomb, cave, and openable chest. Like I'm doing the dungeons like Stormvale. I'm not just gonna go through the main path. I'm obviously exhausting all the side paths, going deep into the basement with the weird melted godhead. Like there's so many special places to look at in this game. If anything, one of the end game zones, Scott, is this place called Crumbling Farum Azula. And it's basically a city that's been blown by a tornado up in the sky, and there's just tornadoes everywhere. And you've got the level is the broken city that you're jumping around, but there's just tornadoes all over the place, and it's in the sky, and it's awesome. It's like video game awesome, fantasy awesome. It's not lame like look at me, it's Limgrave. I look like the season 1 of Game of Thrones. Whoop de doo, like
Yeah.
that place is awesome. I mean, even Caelid is such an oppressive red vibe. I think Lemuria is really pretty. I think you'll end up liking that zone too. There's some really pretty areas, but it's also a little vanilla. But even at there's a lot of vanilla places, but when you get to those special dungeony places, you're like, man, I'm glad I saw this. It's just so cool. Like it's
The subterranean maps in particular are really amazing. Like when you go underground and you're like, the map was already huge. There's an underground to this place, like a real underground, and how incredible it all looks.
Yeah, not like a dungeon, like, oh, I'm down here for 30 minutes. It's like, oh, there's a full the entirety of Wisconsin is down here or something like that.
Wow. That's probably where it belongs. Just kidding, Wisconsin. You guys are great.
It's kind of nuts. It really is. And yeah, the game teaches you interesting lessons. So the first guy that kills you, I'm assuming he killed you, Scott, the first enemy you encountered.
So the dude I fought in the knowledge tunnel, because I decided to do that. I couldn't remember any of it. So I was
this was pre-knowledge tunnel. This was the guy, the boss.
That for sure beat me.
The first thing you see.
Big spy.
So you can
thing.
actually kill him, but it's very, very difficult to do at that stage. So
it's
always assumed you kill. He kills you because you get one chance. And so he's there to teach you that you're gonna die. This is a game about dying. This isn't a game about killing everything your first try.
Yeah.
And then like Bo said, the tree sentinel, the dude on the horse, he's there to teach you that it's a dangerous world. You're not gonna be able to go out and just fight anything you see. You gotta take it piece by piece. And I'll tell you where I really hit my stride with Elden Ring, because I kind of probably played it roughly the same way you did, where it was like, oh, I'm going to go fight this tree son. Oh, I died immediately. Okay, I'm not going to do that. I'm going to go to this church, and I'm going to hit this, and oh, there's a cave, and oh, I died in the cave for a while, and oh, I died to the boss in the cave for a while, and okay, I got out, got done with that. That felt good. But when you get kind of through that foresty area and you get to the camp that has all the knights in it,
Yeah. I
started going
killed
down
all them.
in there.
Yeah.
And I started doing kind of runs, and it was like, okay, I can go in and I can kill about half the knights here before I'm like, oh, I got to go rest, which respawns them all.
Right.
And then it was like, okay, well, let me go in and let me try again. Oh, this time I was able to kill a few more. And then, okay, well, level up, get more stuff. They're dropping armor and items. Let me try a bit more. Okay, now I can kill almost everybody at that camp except that real big badass knight amongst them. He's getting me, so I can't do that. So one of the most fulfilling things I had was it was almost like a puzzle game of like, all right, I stealth, kill this guy, go around, fight these guys, get this guy, stop the guy from blowing the stupid horn and getting everybody mad at me. And then all of a sudden it got to the point where one day I cleared that entire camp, and I was like, heck yeah. I'm look at this. I've got marked progress I'm making in this game through this methodical approach, and then discovered there's a whole little underground area there and treasure to get at that spot. Just a little cave. It's nothing amazing, but
I saw that
and then
too.
it's like, okay, well, I cleared that. What's next?
Yeah.
And then it's like, what's the next section of the game am I going to tackle? Kind of like what you were saying with the going shopping. All right, I've got my supermarket trip set.
Yep.
What's the next thing I got to go buy? And that's really where I hit my stride with the game. Was just like, okay, now I got this on lock. Next thing, I'm going to lock in and go for something else.
All right. I did. So what you just described, I did yesterday, or I finally cleared that whole camp, got the whole thing. And it felt really good. It was like, yeah, so I can take on these relatively difficult NPCs that aren't bosses, but they're, for me, they're not trash, even though people call them trash. They're a step above trash. And I cleared all that out. That felt really good. And then I immediately started going around the other side over there and ran into more of these horse people. And the freaking people on horses are just the biggest dicks in the universe. They really are dicks. And I had my horse by then. I'd already talked to What's-Her-Beak, and she gave me the ring and stuff. By the way, couldn't you used to assign that ring to your D-pad up? What?
Yes.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
it's obscure, like a lot of things in this game.
Yeah.
In your inventory window, there is a slot for gear.
Yeah.
It's not your regular equip. It's not like where your potions go.
Right.
But you can assign a button to where when you hold Y, you get a direction pad and you can assign it there. And so it doesn't get put on your cycle belt with where your consumables are. So you'll just hit Y and then up or left or right or whatever you assign it to.
Oh,
But
Yeah, you don't even press a button. Like press start, then push right and go to your pouch.
that's it?
yeah.
Yeah. And
Oh,
yeah,
well,
I know.
shit.
That's what I was complaining about last week. I was like, wasn't there a way to put your mount somewhere useful? And then I figured it out.
It's like just above where you do like your emotes.
Okay.
Like there's all the weird little emote stuff that you can do.
Yeah.
It's above that. You can assign. So like that's where I put my lantern. That's where I put my horse. That's where I put if I'm going someplace where I know there's a lot of poison. I put the thing that cures poison because I don't want that on my pouch all the time. And another fun trick is even if you are putting it on your belt and you have to cycle through a bunch of stuff,
Yeah.
if you hold the button, it will always reset to the number 1 slot. So if you have your healing potion on that in your first slot, when you hold up, it will always go back to your healing potion.
Oh, okay. Which is a whole other issue. I have
Or
panic
down, I think.
I
But
have down. I have panic flasked many times.
Uh-huh.
And the reason I do it, I haven't remapped anything, and that's part of the problem because I'm also playing a couple of other games where X on a controller, on an Xbox controller, style controller, as opposed to PlayStation or something, I guess Square on PlayStation, is used for something very different, often attacks or, activating something or something. So sometimes I'll panic and somebody will come at me, like Horseboy will come at me with a huge swing of his tabard, and I'll go, shit, like I'm going to hit him, but instead I'm going, I'll just have a drink while I'm standing here. And this is also a game that doesn't care if you're full. It's like, oh, you're going to drink one of your limited little 3 or 4 flasks there, are you? There, jackass, go ahead.
Yeah. Don't spam click it either. I've drinking 2 potions in a row and been so mad. Like,
It's
it's
so
like,
mad.
dang it.
It's so maddening.
You double tap and it's like, it's over. You
Yeah.
lost one.
So I've gotten better at that, but it's, I am really making an effort to do this and get over my hangups about Souls-likes in general, especially a game that is offering me a different kind of experience. It's not this, most Souls-likes are kind of linear and sort of go here, then there, then there, then there. And this game is not. This game's like, you can go anywhere you want to go. You might run into some trouble, but you might do okay. You don't know. Like that aspect of this is what I really want to give my time to. And not be so weird about it. And also, there's a part of me that needs to slow down in general. This is just a life thing. I need to slow down a little. I just get too much going on at once all the time. And sometimes gaming's that for me, where it's just like, I want to mash my way through this. And I'm trying to say, no, slow down for a second. Drink in the experience of this. Enjoy sitting there by the fire and making hard decisions about where I'm allocating points while I'm holding anime girl's hand, like all this stuff. Like really think of those things, be mindful of those things while they're in front of me, instead of just like, where's the map? There's the glowy bit. Okay. Whoop, there's the boss. Where do I hit him? Must be the eyes because they glow red. Pew, pew, pew. He's dead. I gotta think differently. Not that those games aren't fine. They are. They're great. They're fun. And I'm playing another game that is just like that, which I'll talk about later, and I already talked about last week. But this one isn't asking any of that of me. It's asking me to have a very different kind of experience, and I'm trying. I'm going to do my best here. I'm happy to say how well this game performed. Oh, I should do one quick thing before I forget. Someone the only reason I'm playing, how I was all iffy last week. I was like, should I pull the trigger? I don't know, $59. Do I really want it? I was being all weenie about it. And someone named Shatterproof showed up in my DMs and said, he slid into my DMs, as the kids used to say.
Yeah.
I don't know if they still say that.
Just slid
I
right
think
in.
you only slide when, well, never mind.
If there's something weird going on. But maybe they meant skibbity toilet or whatever the new thing is. I don't know. But anyway, he came in there and he very generously said, dude, I want you to play this. And I think you're ready. And I believed him. And so after some back and forth, he did this very nice thing. So a big, huge shout out to Shatterproof in the community. The guy was extremely kind to do this. And it gave me no excuse. It was like, it's almost like a horror game that I usually, wouldn't buy on my own. I was like, you know what? I now need to play this. I need to really go. And so I did. And the other thing I was going to say was, what was the other thing?
Have you played it on Steam Deck? Does it work on the Deck?
That's what I was going to tell you. It works wonderfully on the Steam Deck. I knew it was verified there, but I didn't know if it ran, how it would run, if I'd lose frames or what. No issues. 60 frames solid, runs beautifully. I can even run some of the, not UHD, what's it called? HDR stuff. Yeah, it looks really good on the new screen, the OLED screen. Fantastic on that device. And so I've been splitting my time between that and the PC. The only thing it doesn't do is ray tracing, but I don't think I notice it that much on my PC anyway. I don't
think it does a ton of ray tracing. I've turned mine on and off, and it's like
it's minimal.
I don't really see a difference, performance or visually. So I'm like,
yeah. What's crazy to me is how big this game is, just geographically. And you talked about how there's an under portion, an over portion, and then all these.
I didn't talk about. You can go to high perch points, and see a lot of the map, not just on the map screen, but you can point to the map and be like, "I've been to all of these places," and now they're just tiny dots on the landscape.
Yeah,
a castle, like you'll see a castle, and you'll be like, "Man, I've been in there," and there's like 50 rooms in that castle, but it just looks like some castle. If I didn't know better, it could just be some background. There's no filler art environment. Like everything you see in the game, you can get to.
Yeah, and none of it feels super repeaty. And what amazes me about that is that the game somehow, with all of what we just described, it is somehow smaller, like half the size of Call of Duty. Like, what are we doing?
I think it's just textures. I think Call of Duty is just like billions of textures.
I guess so. I don't know.
It seems to me the bloat is just usually high-res textures, which this game doesn't necessarily.
Yeah. But it's weird as hell looking. It's ugly in a beautiful way. Everything's weird. Everything you do is weird. The creatures you see are weird as shit.
Have you ever fought these yet? Sorry, you're showing rune bears on the screen.
Yeah, rune bears really upset me.
I haven't gotten to them yet.
I hate rune bears so much.
I assume they drop runes.
Bears and there's rune bears, and boy, oh boy, those things they got like a stick of dynamite shoved up their butthole.
No, the one that got me was I was out fighting near a lake, and I couldn't even tell you where it is, but in the lake were turtles and small crabs and all this other stuff. And I'm creeping up on these tiny crabs thinking, well, you better not jump on my face and, give me a Gordon Freeman or something.
Yeah.
Like, I didn't know what was going on. So I'm killing a bunch of those. And they're not even fighting back. I'm like, sweet. I'm just getting all these crabs. They're dropping some stuff I want. This is good. I'm getting runes out of it. It's not much, but a little. And so I'm doing that for a while. And then I see one, something out in the middle. It's one of these roly-poly ball things that this guy's fighting right now. That has like
the gray ones drop ashes of war, so you want to collect them all.
Yeah, you want to see if you see them, you go
get them. Red
ones
refill your potions, blue ones refill your mana potions, and the gray ones give you ashes, which they're important.
Yeah. Anyways, so I was going to the middle to get one of those, and once again the game was prepared for me to do this with a little trick of its own. So I go out there to get it. So far, no resistance. It had been just non-fighting crabs and a couple of turtles who just turtle up when you hit them. They don't even care. And then out of the water on both sides of me pop two crabs the size of Winnebagos.
yeah.
Gigantic.
They're not very nice looking either. Like, they're pretty disgusting.
No, they're really gross and weird and awesome. And I had to fight those and I died. Went back, ran to my corpse, got my runes back, and then figured out a way to just to get one of them upset, to do them one at a time. And I figured those things out and killed them both. But it took forever. I didn't die again though.
They're tough. Like, what level are you? Like, I'm still pretty sure at a certain point you're baby levels, at least for the first 20 or 30 levels.
I think I'm still under 20. I think I'm 14, maybe 15.
It might shock you to know, but there comes a point, especially with Limgrave being the starting zone, where you can kind of just one tap everything. So
sure. I'm looking forward to that.
Yeah, you just ride by, poke them, and all, if not half their life is gone.
Yeah.
It's like,
I was actually going to ask about that because I didn't know if things scaled or not. I guess they don't.
Well, you level up, and the world there's no level scaling,
Right.
except for zones get harder.
Mm.
Like classic RPG, right? You're in Duratar, everything's hard until but when you're level 60 in Duratar, then everything's just falls over.
Right. Same deal.
Same
But
principles at
there
work.
are people who beat this game without leveling up.
For
Using
sure,
default
everything-
equipment.
So everything's beatable from level 1 without leveling and no equipment. But you don't have to play. We don't have to play that way.
There's no need.
It
No need to
just
do
let
that to yourself.
But it signals the fact that because everything's beatable, the leveling will help immensely. If you're feeling discouraged by this game, just remember you can get more powerful and things will get easier.
Yeah, I
And you can
can't.
practice trial and error, like you said, and things get easier. Like once it's not even just one enemy. There is a whole. It's like learning. Remember when you were first learning to play MOBAs? Heroes coming in, and you're like, I'm going to do this MOBA thing.
Yeah,
And now you're competent and understand strategies.
sure.
There's something to the Souls-like genre that's like that. Like when you're in a boss fight and you're circling each other, and he's not attacking, you're not attacking, and you're waiting to see who's going to strike first, and you accidentally click that potion button and drink that potion. The boss will register that you're drinking a potion and go, aha, opportunity, and stab your balls. Like, so not a lot of games have enemies that make those kinds of plays.
Yeah.
Including, like, there's one those big cleaver guys. I don't know if you know what I'm talking about, John. I know Scott hasn't encountered them yet. These like, very pot-bellied, giant axe or sword wielding guys.
Yeah.
And what they'll do is they'll raise up to hit you, and you'll roll back, and if you roll back too early, they detect you rolling back, and they hop forward one, and then bring the sword down, and you're just like, God damn it! Like, and then if you roll 4 times, he hops 4 times. Like the game actually actively reads like what you're doing in a believable enough way. Like, obviously, games can just detect your inputs and cheat. And it could be doing that under the hood.
It does. So
But-
here's a real quick fun thing on the detection thing. So if you ever, and you might end up deciding you like magic and going the magic route.
Mhm.
One interesting thing I learned in my rabbit hole this week is that yes, enemies do read button inputs. It's why so frequently when you fire magic at an enemy, they just hop out of the way and are like,
Oh, yeah, that's
no
definitely
problem.
Mhm.
But there is a class of magic. I can't remember the name. It's either like Nightfall or Star, something to do with night. That the whole feature of that spell is that it removes it doesn't say this. This is what it does. It removes the enemy's ability to detect the button input. So you might
that's
have
awesome.
the glintstone pebble that you fire and enemies always jump out of the way, but the nightfall pebble or whatever, they won't jump out of the way because it's considered a stealth-based magic and it won't read your button inputs.
Oh, interesting. That's cool.
But I mean, it is. But what I wanted to say about that, this whole conversation is that it still is fair, because if the enemy is in the process of doing a move, it won't like unfairly jump out of the way. Like there haven't been too many times where I'm just like, that's complete ass the way they programmed this. Like, it's just cheating. Like, it's like, yeah, but if it were a real human, they'd probably have seen that I'm, a competent, threatening Uber boss would have definitely read that move, and that's fine.
Yeah.
I'm frustrated, but I don't feel cheated.
Right.
The only time I feel cheated is kind of just when I get cornered. Sometimes you're backing up and kiting and having an intense fight, and then you get your foot stuck on a door,
Yeah.
and you can't roll or move anywhere, and then the boss is in your face, and you can't roll through his hitbox, and you're just like, gosh, dang it. That stuff's frustrating.
Yeah.
But-
You get that more in the open world where you get backed into some trees or something. I feel like they give you a lot of room inside the pea blanket when you go inside the pea blanket portal. You know what I mean?
Yeah, no, it's that stuff's pretty good, but still, like, you do the game. If you do get backed in a corner, like, it's bad. You got to be mindful to rotate around the room.
Yeah.
And that's the other thing. Like, there's so many items in this game, Scott. Like, once you get to those wolves there, you can summon helpers on major encounters.
Yeah, I have those guys.
Especially
I guess
if you want to go spell casting,
Yeah.
they can tank for you. You get yourself a nice little tanky character, and then
Can you
can
create
pepper
that kind of
from those.
aggro and have them,
you will pull aggro off them. Like, your mimics will never do as much damage as you,
Right.
but it feels kind of fair in that, like, yeah, I just did a third of his health and damage. Now he's going to come swing at me.
Yeah.
But your helper will reestablish aggro if you stop pissing off the boss.
Right.
So, and they don't last forever. So generally, you get a bit of time to do, depending on how tough the encounter is, a bit of time with the tank, and then maybe for the second half you're on your own and trying to beat him with your weapon or something like that. It depends how things goes. Lots of things can go wrong in a boss fight. So
Yeah.
But you do get like those there's just a lot of tools to enjoy the game, and I just completely shut out that part of the conversation about the EPing players.
Yeah, I don't give a shit
use
about
mimics.
Yeah.
If it's an item in the game, it cuts both ways, right? You don't want difficulty sliders in the game, fair enough. But if it's an item in the game, it's all legal and
Yeah,
who
it's up
cares?
to you if you
So-
want to use it or not.
Yeah, it's
So
also kind of a
it cuts both
stylistic
ways.
choice. Like, I love the idea of pets, summonable pets. I always have. It's why I lean toward classes and MMOs and other games where a pet is involved. I love that stuff.
Yeah.
So
There
for
are
me,
like
that was
50
like
of them.
there was
There's
like,
a ton of options.
and there was no way I wasn't going to do a pet or summoning of pets
That's-
or whatever.
It does say you do got to find the bell. I don't remember precisely where it is. You're not going to get it you get it pretty early. You're probably there soon.
I have it. I think I have the ghost wolves. I have that. So
Okay, you got it right.
Yeah,
Great.
yeah.
Perfect. Yeah, Ranny gives it to you at the church, I think.
yeah, it's the only time
There's
I've
a
ever enjoyed going to
four-armed
church.
lady.
Yeah, that's a good church to go
Yeah,
to.
and it's to show kind of the depth. Like, it's funny because this just gives you an idea of how these items interact and how deep the rabbit hole can go. There's an item in the game where if you equip it, the thing that it does is you will never lose aggro. If something gets mad in your vicinity, it will target you and only ever you. It won't target anything else.
Talisman.
And it kind of seems like it kind of feels like that's how the game plays by default anyway, but it kind of feels weird to use up a valuable slot with that. But a trick you can do, found this one out on the internet the other day. So there's an item called the Mimic Tier, which creates a clone of you to help you fight in combat.
Yeah.
The Mimic Tier spawns with exactly the equipment you have equipped at the time that you spawn it. If you spawn the Mimic Tier wearing that item, and then you take that item off, the boss will only ever be aggroed on the Mimic Tier, and you've created a tank
right.
for yourself.
Oh, that's good to know.
Although you do have to do some ninja equipping. Like you have to go to the
Yeah, you gotta go quick because you can only use the Mimic Tier in the
That's
boss room while the
it's a
boss
bit of a
is
rough
running
go.
at you.
Gosh,
Yeah.
yeah. How do
In
you
the
do
middle
that?
of an encounter.
Because the game doesn't pause. How do you make that work? That seems
Well, all you would have to do is real quick unequip it. They'll automatically start attacking the Mimic, and then while they're distracted, put on something else if you want something else, or just go without an item in that slot.
or
Okay.
write a macro.
Yeah, or you read a macro. Yeah.
Sure. why not?
So, but I mean, like, yeah, that's a good sign of the depth. You guys want to hear about the DLC?
Yeah, let's talk about that because everybody who's tuning in has heard a lot of
You
this
played
before.
the DLC? You got to?
I got to the DLC.
I'm impressed.
Incredible.
Yeah, every time I got in, you were in this game. Every time I fired up Steam, you were playing. So
Well, I left it running an awful lot,
Oh.
but that said, I have also played an awful lot. So the DLC, I finally got to it, which was a bit of a chore. I think I said last week I accidentally was on New Game Plus and didn't realize it, so I had to basically play through 90% of the game anyway to get up to the DLC, because it does have some prerequisites. You have to have beaten certain bosses, and then you have to go to a specific location. And the location that you have to go is this it's this temple where the boss is Moog. And there's really only two ways to get to him. And one of them is there's a quest line where you do a quest from a guy named Vare. He's the first guy that you meet who is like, haha,
you must have met him.
yeah, he's like, when you come out of the tutorial cave, he's the guy out there that's like, hey, Tarnished, and he makes fun of you for being maidenless.
oh
It's
right,
one of his big things. He's like, you're maidenless. Look at you.
yeah.
That maidenless loser, you. You can do a quest for him, and at a certain point in the quest, when you talk to him, he'll give you an item that will teleport you to Moog's palace, and that's the quickest and easiest way to get there. So that's what I was working on doing because I wanted to have played the DLC by the time I got to Core tonight so I could talk about it.
Right.
And I was showing off because my wife was in the room watching me play. And this game doesn't make you feel like hot shit. So you got to take any moment you can to feel like hot shit. And I was like, yeah, look at me. I did this quest. And I was like, this guy called me a maidenless loser. And I had gotten to the point where I was like, yeah, okay, I've completed his quest. And I was like, I'll show him who's maidenless. And I killed him. And then I was like,
Shit.
wait, I don't think he gave me the item yet. So I looked at the guide. And the guide's like, yeah, you got to talk to him a second time after you complete it to get the item. I killed him before I got the item from him.
Oopsies.
And completely closed that method of getting there. So I went, oh no.
Oh no!
Oh,
Yeah,
you couldn't even loot
can't-
it? You can't loot it then from him.
No,
Okay.
no. The game is very unforgiving about that. Like if you kill an NPC and close their quest, you can't get the quest rewards from doing it all. It's just done.
Okay.
You can still finish the game. But you're trying to get to the DLC, and now
Yeah.
so you had to go all the way to the fire giant or whatever, basically. Like I
So
think the teleporters in the ice realm.
So the other way you have to get it is from the lower snowfield, which the lower snowfield requires the secret talisman for the elevator, which means you have to go get one half from a boss inside the upper snowfield area, and the other half from a weird little city. There's a guy disguised as a bush or a pot or something, and he gives you the other half. And then you have to go down an elevator, and then you have to ride through a snowy field where you cannot see anything. This game was bold enough to go, what if we did a really large landmass with a bunch of cliffs you can fall off of and die? And here's the thing. It's a perpetual blizzard. You can't see shit. Let's throw in a rune bear and a couple of riders.
Oh yeah,
and a
yeah. I
bunch
know.
of
I
other
know the
stuff
zone
down
you're
there
talking
too.
about. Yeah.
And yeah, my wife's in the chat. She says, you even missed hitting him the first time, and she told me it was destiny to not kill the guy. And I said, oh yeah, I'll show you. And I killed him anyway.
Wow.
So I literally had to try twice. But anyway, yes, I went to the lower snowfield, found my way to the teleporter. That was a whole challenge in and of itself. And then you have to progress through this whole little map, and you have to kill a boss named Moog, who is not an easy boss necessarily to beat. He's another one of those bosses that has an interesting little extra tricks you can try to kind of help deal with him.
Is he the egg-looking thing with an arm hanging out of it? Is that the?
No, that's
okay.
Makella.
Okay.
So
You're right.
he's
yeah.
yeah, but he's the keeper of the egg. So the whole thing with Moog is that he stole Makella away.
Yeah.
And has been trying to corrupt Makella with blood to make Makella his consort.
Oh my.
So that he can basically have a god for a consort. That's his goal.
Yeah.
And you kill him, and then the hand comes out, the hand of Makella. You touch it, and it pulls you into the Shadow Realm. And then you're in the DLC now, because this is the Shadow Realm.
Okay.
And it's super cool, because one thing I know I've said on Core before is I wish I could go back in time and play Elden Ring without knowing everything I know about Elden Ring. Because like that sense of discovery and like not knowing what's in a place, or getting an item and not immediately knowing what it is, or being surprised by something, like, is so good. And the best part about the DLC is it's like, okay, we're back to that. Like, here's that again. Here's a cool new place, cool new rules. And you got to go out there and you got to figure it out. And it is huge. I've spent a ton of time there, and I feel like I've barely scratched the surface. But already it's just reawakened to everything I love about this game. And, there is a lot of people saying like, oh boy, this DLC is hard. And it is. Because one of the things they did is they knew that people would probably be coming into this DLC a little bit overpowered, which is 100% true of me. I am vastly overpowered. I'm on New Game Plus, and I absolutely was not shy about doing XP farming locations to level up. So, but this DLC has these runes that you have to power up. basically you collect these shards, and when you turn them in, and it gets exponentially more. So when you get one, you upgrade it. That's actually, it's up there, right there, the soul tree thing fragment. When you get one, it gives you higher damage and higher defense while you're in the Shadow Realm. It does not carry over once you leave the Shadow Realm, but it ups it there. And that's basically how you boost your character there, is you have to collect these items. If you don't have the items, you're going to feel underpowered. And if you collect them all, you'll probably feel fairly powerful, I would assume. And it kind of encourages exploration and checking things out. And it certainly puts you back on a fair fighting level. And it has been challenging. One of the first things I did was discover a boss inside this building. And I ran in and was like, all right, let me fight this guy. And I felt like I was doing pretty good for a couple seconds. And then he hit me once and all my health went away. And I went, oh, well, all right, I'll be cool. I'll summon my mimic tier and fight this guy. And they went, no, no mimic tier summons, no summons in this room.
Oh, shit.
And I went, I'm going to get good. This is what I'm going to do. And I spent a good chunk of time remembering how to play this game legitimately without feeling overpowered, without having a mimic tier to rely on. And it was a ton of fun to go back to that kind of the place you are in the game where it's like, boy, I am struggling to do this fight, and I'm having to learn, here's when I can block, here's when I can take advantage, here's, where I have to rely on my invincibility frames for rolling. All of that, and it was really cool to rediscover it. Now, it's not to say that you can't summon in other places. There have been other bosses where I've certainly used summons to kind of help me out. There is, oh man, she's got another name that's exactly like another character's name, so I might get it wrong. I think her name is Renla.
Nala and Raya.
Yes, so
this
is Renala. Wait, what's
Renala.
the one in the
Renala.
Okay, this is her sister.
Oh,
Renla.
no. Shit.
So
Naturally, and the parents named them pretty much the same thing, but
yes, as always in Elden Ring, siblings have nearly exactly the same name. It's one of the coolest fights I've ever seen in Elden
Ring. There's a Godric and a Godfrey, and also a
Godwyn and a
Godwyn
Godfrey
and a Godfrey or free or
You guys have really helped showcase maybe the genius of what From makes, and maybe in this game in particular, but I can't think of another game that does that, where you beat a thing, you feel pretty good about yourself, maybe a little cocky, and they come in there and they humble you back to a place that you remember being in the start of your journey in this game. That's really unique. I don't know of any other games that do that.
It does happen in the base game too, not to the same extent, but you might master a zone and be one-shotting everything, doing really good. And you go to a new zone and everything's like, oh no, it's much harder over here, or there's some sort of complication. They have new movesets. You do experience that throughout the game as well, which is, I mean, it's kind of the point of leveling up, right? There's always there's the old trope about everything's supposed to be hard, then you level up and everything's easy. But it's always better what if everything's just challenging as you progress? Yeah, but you level up, but it makes you more powerful. But I feel a lot of what makes you more powerful is just also you're practicing the game while you're playing it. When you're pounding your head on something you can't beat, you are learning muscle memory stuff. You are getting into the habit of not spamming, not spamming your attack button, but waiting for the right moment. I know that I'm using Twin Blade, and Twin Blade has a very powerful power attack, but I need it's a second of windup, so I need a certain amount of window. And if I can get that window, you're gonna spin 4 times if you're two-handing it. So 1, 2, 3 is low damage output, and the fourth one is going to be a poise breaking big boy hit. So now I'm I can count the timing of this attack on this one weapon that has 500 weapons in the game. I don't have the same knowledge on flails as I do on twin blades at this point, right? Because I've been practicing with the twin blade, and it's that's where it feels like, oh, I'm good at the twin blade, but I'm not necessarily good at this other weapon. or you might be bad with a weapon, and then someone points out like, oh, if you do this or that with the weapon, then you could become maximally effective. So even like the idea that you get good at the game and that you're OP is like questionable, because like what are you good with? Like you're using the things that are good. Like when you were saying, can you use spells last week? I want to do magic. I was like, I have no idea how to beat this game with spells. I use like 0 spells on my first playthrough.
Right.
But this playthrough, I have been using spells. I've been using cheese too, Scott. John, did you see me cheese the Crucible Knight, by the way? I know you dropped by my stream the other day.
No, I don't think I did.
So Crucible Knights are bastards. You're going to learn this, Scott, if you keep playing.
I
But they're
will.
basically heavily armored.
Oh, I
juggernauts.
did. You were shooting him from a ledge.
Yeah,
right?
yeah. So there's this Crucible Knight. You have to jump down to fight him, but I can see him. And I peppered him with like 500 arrows that were doing 2 damage each. And I was like, I don't want to fight this guy. And I was like, bing, 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 bing. The reason why it took so long is because he was hiding behind a wall a lot of the time. So I'd only get him when he'd come out. And he's the kind of kill in the world. Some kills respawn and some don't. And he was a non-respawn, so I just got him out of the way.
Well,
by cheesing him from the ledge. And I'm like, well, sucks to suck, man. You shouldn't walk around with heavy armor. Archers are going to rip you a new butthole. And that's just what I did. So, range stuff is actually pretty good. I've also been using dragon incantations. So I've been doing the faith stuff. Like magic is like intellect, right? So it's like the gray spells and blue spells.
sure.
But there's a whole school of spells that are yellow that are like cleric incantations. Those are usually what make your weapons have enchantments, and you can shoot fireballs and lightning bolts and stuff. And I really love like lightning spears, like just.
Where do you get those? Are they scrolls you find or something? How do you get? I haven't gotten any spells.
There are vendors that sell incantations eventually, and their rewards, their spells littered all throughout the game. Like I think I have like 80 spells, maybe not 80, but like 40 or 50.
Oh wow! All right.
Dragon incantations you get from killing dragons, which if you wander around that lake some more, you might bump into something interesting. I'll just say that.
Yeah.
There's quite a few dragons in this game, and you get to fight them mano a mano.
Sweet.
And they're awesome. But and you can learn their abilities. Some of them are pretty awesome. But yeah, I've been using spells more and more, and like they're kind of hot shit. Like I'm just like, oh, standing at range and like. It's like D&D. It's like if level 1, yeah, spellcaster, who cares? But by the time you get fireball, you're kind of annihilating things. And spells are pretty powerful in this game. Like it's definitely a way to go. Just don't get hit. Like I don't. The armor sets for spellcasters are not pretty. You're gonna get one tapped a lot, but you can also kind of one tap. The other thing I discovered too is holy damage is situationally the best damage in the game against like undead bosses.
Oh.
I 2-tapped a boss with like 2 swipes and killed him because he was undead and holy damage. It was like one of those assassin guys that are actually really hard to fight. I just like twin blade. I've got a Darth Maul twin blade that glows with holy power that I just can't stop playing with because I feel like a badass Jedi. And I just go shunk shunk and he's dead. And it has like side things, like skeletons will come back up after you kill them. You kind of got to kill them, and then when they try to come back up, then you put them down to keep them down.
Yeah.
But if you do holy damage to them, they just stay down and they don't come back up. So it's like way more convenient. I like holy damage. But I think there's like fun to be had no matter what kind of build you're finding, and so many weapons and options. You'll settle into something you like.
Yeah.
But
did you guys laugh the first time a sheep rolled up into a ball and rolled away from you?
Yes.
Yeah.
This is like
That was really weird.
And off it goes.
Yeah. And it's just now it's normal, but I'm just like, what the frick is wrong with the sheep in this place? They are effed.
Yeah, there's a lot of things wrong. There's a whole ants. There's a giant ants level. You're not afraid of ants, are you?
Not like I am. I don't like spiders. Are there big spiders in the game at some point? Probably.
I hear in the DLC there might be these spider scorpion things that people
Yeah,
have been warning me
let me
about,
tell
but
you.
I don't want to know. I'll find out.
DLC's got some. If you don't like certain things, the DLC might have some things you might not like.
Okay.
But
You got some phobias?
I am a little nervous about that. I'm not gonna lie. But there's these giant ants, and they're pretty gross. But it's not them. It's the death geckos.
That doesn't
Oh,
sound
you don't
good.
like the
Death
death
geckos,
geckos? Those don't bother me that much. I
They're
don't know why.
adorable,
Those...
but they're hostile and they kill you, so they end up bothering me. You know what I mean?
Are they
It's a
huge?
weird sort of thing, but I don't like the death geckos very much.
Are they big? Or are they little? Like, is it death
They're
by a
little.
thousand cuts?
Well, they're little for this game, but you know,
they
in real
throw
life,
out death fog that very quickly fills up a meter, and when it fills, you die.
Damn.
Like that's it.
they're like a size of a big Komodo dragon, maybe, or something. Like they're still big enough in the game, like compared to you.
I
And
don't
they're-
like so the overlarge mosquitoes at that lake. They can F right off. They can go take.
Yeah, those
pound
are
sand.
annoying.
They're just annoying. Yeah.
Yeah,
You know what I
those
hate
are
at the lake
bad.
is the damn poodles.
Yeah, the
Poodles.
poodles
F
are
those
bad.
poodles.
Yeah, you'll find them too. Like
Find
there's
poodles.
Shit, that sounds
some
scary.
ruins out at a lake, and it's full of loser guys that like die in one hit almost. But then there's like 2 or 3 poodle-looking dogs that are just a real menace, especially by comparison. They're
Great.
pretty bad.
I
But
actually
I feel
hate
like
dogs the most. The dogs in this game are so angry.
dogs are rough. Like it doesn't matter what level you are, dogs find a way to just never get hit by you and hit you every single time. But this game will find a phobia for you in some way at some point. I'm sure of it because there is a section of the game where you have to deal with what are basically hand spiders. They are these. They crawl around on the ground,
Yeah.
and they are just like imagine.
I call them more finger spiders.
Imagine Thing from Adam's Family, except like 2 of them joined like this, and they crawl around like that.
They
Yeah.
have like more than 10 fingers. It's like 15
Yeah,
fingers.
there's a lot of fingers going on. I hate them. Those creep me the hell out. I can't deal with it. And it makes that section of the game so much harder for me because I refuse to rest at any of the shrines because they'll respawn. So I
Okay,
basically
really?
I run that zone, that section of the game.
the Carrier Manor. I did that.
Yeah, I run it without resting. So because I refuse, I won't let them respawn until I get to the end and I know I can just teleport out of there.
Yeah.
I'm like, I'm not resting because I don't want to deal with these friggin'
The
finger
little ones are
spiders
so
anymore.
bad. The giant ones annoy the shit out of me for sure.
And they hang out on walls and drop on you as you go by, or they're in the ground and they're just like you just seen fingernails sticking out of the ground and they grab you as you run over the top of them. They're terrifying. They're the absolute worst.
That's like
I
taking
hate 'em so
spiders and too many fingers. Those 2 phobias together that sounds like a rotten combo. I don't like it.
Yeah, it's rough. So it doesn't matter if it's spiders or bugs or poison or mold. If you got a problem with mold, this game's gonna get to you.
Yeah.
This game will find some way to make you uncomfortable. I'm sure of it.
I've stayed away from spoilers and stuff for the any of this really especially for the final DLC because they have said this is it. They're not doing anything else. This is the completion of this game, this DLC. Do you think is it possible this game has a happy ending of any kind? It's not possible, is it?
Well, I mean, it does in that, you know, if you finish the game, you've become the Elden Lord. Like, not to...
Yeah,
the whole game is like, grab the pieces of the ring and fuse them and become Elden Lord. So you become spoilers, everyone. That's the...
Yeah, they tell you that right away.
Zelda, you need to assemble the Triforce to bust Ganondorf's head open somehow.
Is this your kingdom when you're Elden Lord? Because what a shit show! You don't want to.
This is not Baldur's Gate 3. It's way too vague. Well, some shit happens to like Elden Lord.
Yeah, I know how my game ended in the fact that I'm like, well, I saw it. I have no idea what that means. I'll tell you, almost nobody in this game gets a happy end. Like, I saw like a 10-minute long YouTube video called "The People Who Had Happy Endings in Elden Ring," and it was apparently only took about 10 minutes to list all the NPCs that got happy endings to their stories. This is a place where a lot of things suck, and I wouldn't anticipate things not sucking at any particular point for anyone. Like, assume everyone you meet is gonna just not have a great ending and you're pretty much on the right track, and then just enjoy when you find one of the exceptions to the rule.
Right. So do you know how many new boss? So I was looking at the boss list for for the game minus the expansion, and it's enormous.
Yeah,
Yeah.
An
there's a ton of
enormous list
bosses.
of like these very unique individual boss fights. Does the DLC introduce like here's another 50 of those? You know,
Yeah,
I've
the
heard
D-
that the DLC is roughly 1/3 of what Elden Ring is, which is massive.
it's
That's
still big.
insane.
Yeah, that's very big. How is this game under 50 gig? I don't get it, but whatever. What do I know? I don't know how you make video games.
The one thing too I wanted to say about the endings is just that I did that. There's also, I think mine was pretty depressing. I can't remember it though, but I did the Ranny the Witch. Like,
That's the ending I got too.
yeah,
I got
Didn't it-
married.
Yeah,
got
doesn't
married.
that make her the Elden or the Lord? It does something for her. It's one of the ones where it's like less about you because you're saving other
Well,
people.
I think you become the Elden Lord is just the consort to like the deity. So I think like she becomes what Queen Marika was, and you become what what's his name? Horaloo. Before he changed his name to Horaloo.
Oh, right.
Like
Yeah,
Does anyone
You
become? I mean, do you become one of these like Lord of Blasphemy?
I think yeah, there is like a chaos. There's a frenzied flame ending where you just burn it all down.
Damn.
But like, there's it just you kind of just pick. It's not really like Baldur's Gate where you made a bunch of choices and it brings you here. Is if you finish like a companion quest line equivalent, basically, you have the option to do some of those endings.
Okay.
I think.
I avoided the Dung Eater ending because I ran into the Dung Eater and I killed him. So he isn't gonna get what he wants. That's
No.
for sure.
Well, he's the dung eater. Don't let that guy have anything he wants. Are you kidding me? Unless is he sympathetic in some way? Because when I see pictures of
No,
him, I just go,
you talk to him and he's like, I want you to come to the sewers and fight me because if you don't kill me, I'm going to spread a plague across this entire thing and dine on your corpses. And you're like, okay, cool.
Oh,
And then
yeah.
you find him
Dung
in a
Eater's
jail
real.
cell banging his head against a wall to a bloody pulp. And
yeah,
you're
but
like,
at
okay.
least that's a food step up from just eating shit or whatever he does.
Yeah, he sucks.
Yeah, I don't like him
He's awful. He does have an ending. I've seen it. The world turns brown.
for real.
Yeah, yeah, there is a Dung Eater ending to Elden Ring.
That's fantastic. By the way, I found a musicless version of your Rikard guy talking.
So they didn't.
Okay,
They
let's
didn't-
hear it. Let's
Yeah,
hear
let me
it.
just play this real quick. Hold on, why isn't it playing?
Join myself and King as remedy. Together we will devour the very god.
Dude, he's nasty. I don't like him at all. Not a fan.
You
of
know,
that
you
guy.
know what happens too is this is a spoiler, but whatever. I want to entice you to keep playing. The quest giver that you help to kill this guy,
Yeah.
basically is like when you leave them, they're just eating the corpse of the thing you killed.
Really?
Yeah.
This
Yeah,
guy,
they're just
they're
gorging
eating
on
this.
it just forever eating the corpse of the snake you killed.
Yeah.
Not
this-
forever, because then I killed her, and
Oh,
then
you
a
can
guy
kill her.
showed up to kill me for killing her.
Yeah.
I was like, man, this is complicated.
But if you
Yeah.
don't do that, she'll just forever be feeding on the corpse of the god.
It's an interesting. The whole aesthetic is so just. It's my jam. Like I love dark fantasy that makes no sense to me. I really do. The question is, will Scott be able to keep his attention deficit at bay?
You described it. You nailed it perfectly about the pace. This game is not like bing, bang, bing, bang, video game time. Pew, 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 pew. Checklist done. Turn in quest, loot items. Awesome. It's like where's my engagement loop?
Yeah.
They've engaged me. This game's like you want fun? You picked the wrong place.
You're in the wrong place, buddy. You
Now
want some
eat my
amazing.
depression beams. lasers of anxiety into your eyeballs.
It's like you want moments of amazing dopamine rush, then maybe you will like this, because that is like even just the stupid cave rat guy was really euphoric for me.
Victory feels good. Victory
Yeah.
is like sweet release from tension, and that's what but I mean, like when you sit down, you're like, I'm gonna feel tense for 2 hours.
Yeah,
You know, it's not always you don't always want to sit down and play a video game, and be like feel that way, but it is fun. And
my wife called down here twice last night because I was swearing so loud. She could hear it upstairs because I was just like, gosh dang, gosh dang it. I was like, you piece of ever living shit. I would yell. And my phone's
I'm
like,
amazed I don't have a permanent red mark on my head from all the times I've slapped myself in the head recently playing this game. Because here's the thing that's brilliant about Elden Ring. When you die, almost without fail, you know why you died.
Yeah.
I shouldn't have rolled. I shouldn't have attacked there. I needed to parry one more time or block one more time before I attacked. I was too close. Oh, I didn't see this and dodge out of the way. You know why it happened.
Yeah.
And and somehow that makes it worse. Like if you were just like throwing up your hands and going, I don't even know what happened. Like, okay, what do you have to be mad about? But when you are faced with the reality of I died and I know exactly why and I know exactly how I could have avoided it, it makes you that much madder. And you're like, this is horseshit.
Yeah. Yeah, it really it fries me up. I just get so angry. But I'm making, like I said, I'm making a different approach here. And I'm not insane where I'll be up all night. I'm taking breaks where it's appropriate, and I'm not losing my mind over hurrying. I don't want to rush through this. So I'm just this is an experiment about me more than it is about the game, to be honest. I'm just gonna see what the kind of experience I can muster. It's not that different than who's that streamer dude that sucked at it and didn't want to play it? A huge streamer.
Asmongold?
No.
No, are you talking about Kai Cenat?
Yeah, Kai Cenat. He was like,
didn't want to do it and then did it in a big, bold way.
Yeah, and I'm not about making it. I'm not even going to stream it. I just want to find.
That guy's making the rest of us look bad. It's supposed to be like, hey, we're streaming in our house. This guy's got like a set designer and shit. I'm just like, okay, dude.
Yeah, yeah. He made as big a deal out of as I think he possibly could.
Costume and a set designer. He even had a therapist. Apparently, I think it's a good bit. Like I respect it. He brought a therapist on.
Sure.
Had a therapy session stream because he couldn't beat the last boss of the DLC, which I thought was.
Yeah, it's kind of cool. But I guess what I'm saying is I'm going to be doing this not as I'm not going to use as a public showing as part of the motivation, because I don't think it's not that it's cheating. It's just that that'll be distracting. I just want to play and get engrossed. Boy, putting headphones on really helps, because that place is immersive as hell.
All right, well, let us know if you need some tour guides and stuff. Like, it is helpful to have somebody. As I don't think you stream it. When I streamed it, there was a lot of helpful hints being given about shit I just didn't realize. Like,
that is one
you're not
advantage.
Fat rolling, are you? Do you know about fat rolling?
Where you just roll constantly, hitting B every 5 seconds, or what?
No. So the game has equip encumbrance. You can carry as much shit in your bags; it won't affect you. It doesn't have traditional encumbrance, but it has equip encumbrance. So you have a certain amount that you're allowed to carry. You have these thresholds about weight from your armor, your talismans and weapons. So if you're a light load, you can run fast, you burn less stamina moving around, and you roll pretty far. If you're medium load, you can roll pretty good. If you're heavy load, you do a thing called fat rolling, which is like you roll an inch.
You don't go very far, you don't go very fast,
and you don't dodge any attacks.
And the game does not give you any iframes. So there are iframes on the roll as long as you're on light or medium. So if you hit roll at the right time, nothing can hit you theoretically.
Right.
But fat rolling, there are no iframes. So if you equip all the greatest armor in the game, you can do that, but you're probably going to be heavy, and now you can no longer roll to evade attacks.
Oh, okay. So right now, it feels like I'm doing kind of a medium range with it, but I assume if I look at my stats closely, I will see if I'm overdone.
Just pay attention to that, because the number of times I'm like, sweet, I'm kitted out. I took a minute to prepare myself, equip a few items, go into a boss fight, and I'm rolling an inch at a time. And I'm like, I forgot to check my weight. And it's like, this pull is ruined. Like, I'm wipe already. Like, it's terrible.
Is there any strategy?
It's so slow, too. It's offensively slow.
However, you can go full sword and board and play that. There is a style where you are intentionally heavy because you're doing guard counters. But early game, you don't want to be fat rolling early game while you don't have good gear. So,
well, one of the things I noticed, and I don't know how true this is in most fights. Maybe this is just what you were talking about earlier about muscle memory. But when I finally beat that rat guy, I actually was doing it with a timing thing. So he was doing shit that really hurt up to that point. And then this time I just got a rhythm down where I was doing a heavy attack at the exact right second to interrupt his swing.
Nice.
And when I figured that out, I was like, oh, schlunk, schlunk, schlunk. If I did this right enough times until he spun out or went backwards or did his yell or whatever, I was getting him every time. And it was interrupting every hit that was killing me before. And I don't know how many fights are like that, but I guess that's the point, right? You just learn how the shit works after banging your head against it for long enough, and then you start to see it. You see
Well, and
them
that's
from
part of
there.
the difficulty loop too, because like I really like the katana. It's one of my favorite weapons in the game. And there are multiple different types and styles and all of that, but I love using that. It does slashing damage. Slashing damage is not effective against all the enemies of the game. Now I've offset that a little bit by giving it a special bonus that deals heavy damage when it or like heavy force damage when I use it.
Piercing and striking are the other two, I think.
Yeah, so it can kind of do two of the damage types to get around it, but like eventually you're going to encounter enemies that are made of stone. And if you try to do a slashing attack against an enemy made of stone, your sword is going to bounce right off of it and you're going to be temporarily stunned like for half a second just from trying to hit it.
Jeez.
So sticking with one weapon type can be good because you're going to master that weapon type, but it also leans in a little bit to what the difficulty is, because if you're just sticking with that, there are going to be situations where it's suboptimal, and if you don't change, that's fine. The game will let you not do that. There are ways around it, but you have to then be aware of the fact that like, okay, there are going to be certain fights you have that are just going to be really hard.
Yeah. I mean, it sounds like
John's talking about me because he watched me fight stone gargoyles.
No, I'm talking about me because let me tell you, I used the katana almost all the time.
I was using the twin blade. It was the same amount of attempts. It wasn't doing much. I finally solved it. I got lucky with dragon incantations, which is probably, piercing damage or something, bludgeoning.
Yeah.
But yeah,
I'm seeing some really wild stuff in the DLC, like giant. I assume they're two-handed and slow, but like it looks like a big dragon drumstick or some shit. Big red thing.
Yeah. There's a class of weapon in the game called colossal swords. Even in the base game, you have to have a lot of strength to wield them if you're going strength build. But there's the Game of Thrones sword, if you recall. That is, it looks like the Iron Throne, if the Iron Throne was a sword.
Oh.
And they're massive. Like you drag them on the ground and like do the whole. Like, when you go to hit, you're lifting them off the ground for the duration of the hit, and then it's back on the ground. Like you can't even lift it.
And dragging it everywhere you go, yeah.
There's like if you like playing WoW and stuff, usually melee classes don't get the cool stuff. And I find in a lot of games. Like you play a ranged guy, you got like magic arrows or like spells, and like the fighter guys are like, you can hit with two hands. You can hit fancy. Like it's not as flashy and not as rewarding, but this game is very rewarding because there's so many melee mechanics. You're talking about those stone guys, you can get a giant brick hammer that's just a giant cement block on a stick, and it looks awesome and it feels great to stagger people with it. And I can't think of another game where it feels so good to hit enemies with with gigantic weapons. Like they actually feel like they're getting like. These monstrosities are getting like winded, getting hit by these super weapons.
Yeah,
they're very cool.
Wow.
So there's something for everyone, and that's why the second playthrough has been engaging because I'm playing I'm not using a shield this time around. I was such a shield boy the first time around. Like every time, everything hitting me, shield, gotta block it. Like just stand there for hours. I maxed out my endurance bar so I could stand and shield forever. And this time I'm using no shield, and well, it's spicier. It's a spicier way to play.
Yeah,
for sure.
But I'm sure, like all of it, there's just ups and downs to every choice. I mean, right now I have a shield.
Like a little bit of a different game,
Yeah, I kind of want to dual wield at some point. 2 katanas sounds nice. I don't know if that's even an option, but
no, you can because you can equip weapons to both hands. You can dual wield shields if you want. You can run around and just punch people with 2 shields.
Good Lord.
You can basically put anything in either hand and you can make it work. You can dual wield those great swords that take 2 hands to swing.
Mm.
But
So yeah, any weapon can be one-handed or two-handed, and when you two-hand something, you get a bonus to your strength and attack power on it.
Mm.
So
Mm.
it can be good just to two-hand things. But the other thing I want to say is like weapons that dual wield. So like claws, even though it shows 1, you actually have 2.
Mm.
Called power stancing, I think. And like so, if you're dual wielding, you'll get unique animations if the weapons match. Like you can dual wield any 2 weapons, but if you dual wield 2 like weapons, like 2 katanas, you'll actually get unique combat attacks and animations just for dual wielding the katanas.
Interesting.
And it does that with other weapons. I think twin blades do that too. There's I have the gargoyle twin blade as well as the twin blade from near where you were with the crabs, and it's got some unique animations as well on the.
I don't remember if there are any in the base game, but I will say I've gotten 2 in this DLC where it's a weapon that takes up a single weapon slot, but they are 2 weapons. So that's been kind of cool too. I got these.
That exists in the base game too, like the elemental straight sword from the beginning guy. It's a 2. It's 2 swords.
I thought that was DLC thing. No.
No. There's some in the base game too. Not a lot.
Okay.
And
I
the,
apparently didn't
claws.
use them till now, but I got some. I got some that made me respec because I just thought they were so cool.
Yeah, buddy.
Have you?
Oh,
and
that's the
how
other
you know
thing to
it's
tell
good.
Scott. Once you beat the second boss, they might not necessarily be second for you because the game's non-linear.
Yeah.
Once you beat the boss of Raya Lucaria, which is kind of probably most people's second boss, you can respec. You can get larval tears, and they completely, because you can't go back and respec your character normally. You can respec your character. So if you're just like, I didn't put enough points in defense, and I don't like this, and I don't like that, you can completely redesign what's going on.
Larval tears. All right.
Yeah, for a limited currency called larval tears, but I think you can buy them eventually. So
Okay.
I think it's infinite. So just respecking is also a thing you can do. That's what I want to say.
Game's crazy. All right. Well, there's Elden Ring. Probably more coming up as DLC gets further chewed into by John and Bo. I'm nowhere near any of that, so you won't get that from me.
Did we talk about this already? Like, if you want some tour guiding, we should set that up.
Yeah, I may do that. And I just get my sea legs with it, and then I just don't want to be an idiot on stream. You know what I mean?
Well, but people like that too.
Everyone
wants to help in your journey. Like, I didn't want to suck. I have a bit of an ego. I like to be good at games before I play them on stream. I kind of hate sucking ass on stream.
Same.
And,
unless it's a horror game where I know what I'm. I know why I'm there. I understand the assignment is clear. Yeah. It's supposed to be stupid, but in this case, I don't know. I just like to be a little bit better. But I probably will take you up on this because I don't want to be an idiot forever.
People like watching the journey of like out of all the stuff people have viewed me streaming, it's definitely been the most engaging because when you fail, people like to. It's like hockey. You're just like, oh, if they just would have passed, or just would have did this thing. People are like, oh, if you just do this or just do that, and they're generally very supportive because they know it's hard. No one's like, you noob, you can't do it. They're like, we know it's hard. Why don't you try this item or try the like? It's been more constructive than destructive.
Sure, that makes sense.
But I get not wanting to fail.
Yeah, I want to fail up
like publicly.
Yeah,
it's just like it's like my 50th time. But if Kai Cenat can do it, anyone can do it.
Sure. I thought with his limited resources as a small time streamer, I'm sure anyone can do it.
I mean, he put it. To be fair, he put his death counter up. I mean, it's an embarrassing number. His death counter is like in the thousands. You know what I mean? Like it's.
Gosh, really? I didn't know.
Yeah. Like it's fine. It normalizes the failure, and it's cool. I think if people come out and just show that it's hard. And it's okay.
Just take the teeth out of it. Take the jerky teeth out of it, and just make it part of the game. Sure. All right. Well, more on that down the road. Let's talk about other games we played real quick. I mentioned I'm kind of hooked on Wayfinder. I said that last week. I'll say it again. The problem with this game is it's very much like scratching the MMO itch of get in, do quests, get loot, get out, which is a little.
You were talking about Elden Ring.
Yeah, this is a little. It's a little antithetical to how Elden Ring or games like it work. So I'm probably doing myself a disservice by doing this all at the same time, or roughly. But I'll admit, when I get frustrated in Elden Ring, this is a very nice place to go and just clear a dungeon and have some fun and unlock a character and whatever it is. I've gotten a lot further, though. I'm about 10 hours into this game. And so far, the story's really cool. The art continues to be super rad. Again, this is from the Airship Syndicate developers who are, part of Joe Madura's group and all that. So the art and all this stuff is very Joe Mad. And I love that stuff, so that's just continually growing on me. It's also starting to review better. It had a rough launch because there were two factions at play. One was people were angry that the original plan for a free-to-play MMO was not happening. Those people have basically faded because I think this is a better game than it would have been as a free-to-play MMO and more sustainable. So that kind of went away. The other complaints were that there were some big performance and optimization issues, but they have been patching it like crazy, and they're back to a very positive review level right now. I think it deserves it. I think it's a very cool game. This is the kind of thing that if you don't have much else going on, this is just perfect. It's like, oh, this is here, and this is my jam, and I love this, and you'd like this game. The problem is there's so much competition now. I'm not surprised that some people just aren't discovering it. Any other time, 10 years ago, this would have been like, whoa, you see this coming? You'd have lost your mind. It's just we don't live in that world anymore, and it's hard to get noticed. And I hope it gets more notice as a result. I think it's really great.
I don't know where I heard it, but I think someone was saying like a thing where it's like oftentimes we're just instead of looking for things to do, we're looking for reasons not to do all the things that are offered to us.
Yeah.
It's kind of sad, right? So
Yeah.
and then you kind of if you're not really thinking about it very smartly, you kind of think, oh, it must suck. Like I would want to spend time with it, or there must be some rationalization why it's bad, et cetera, when really it's great, and you just don't have time for it, and that's all there is to it.
Right.
And I think a lot of great products they'll get missed or not played or enjoyed or meet the kind of success they need.
Yeah.
Which is sort of what it sounds like a little bit. Maybe the fate of this thing might be.
I think they helped turn it to a better fate by pivoting, because I think the pivot was smart. It's already hard to launch an MMO in this world. Like, I don't even know, like Greg has major backing, and I think that they're going to do amazing stuff, but it is a tall order, just like anybody releasing an MMO. And so the pivot here, I think, was smart. I do think it gives it longer legs potentially. At the very least, it just makes a good game playable that you can buy for cheap and play. And you don't have to think about will this still be on servers in 20 years? You don't have to think about it. So that's kind of nice. I'm just having a good time with it.
We should plug Word on the Street. It's been a while. That is also a video game thing you do.
Mm-hmm. We do it monthly.
Because I know that you brought me up on the show. And
I did.
Sure Greg's going to put damage numbers into the MMO.
Yeah, I'm sure. If damage numbers show up as a big part of their sort of customer-facing interface stuff, then you'll know. Maybe, just maybe.
I know he loves numbers, although you kind of mischaracterized me a little bit. You're like, he loves numbers everywhere, even up his own ass. It's like beep, 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 all over the place.
I didn't say that. I said
you didn't say that.
I don't know what I said, but you do love it. You love it.
Yeah,
you want numbers popping.
No, you represented me just fine. I'm just making jokes, but you were like, dude, you better put numbers in your game.
Well, and for context, maybe this is interesting if people haven't heard this, and it's in the episode, but just to put a little spotlight on it. The whole thing came up talking to the UX designer who was on. His name is Ed. He was really great. And he said, he was talking about, well, how do we show poison? For example, a character gets poisoned. In WoW and other games, you get a little block up here in the corner that has a countdown timer on it. And it may have had some initial animation of a green arrow hitting him or something, but that's about it. And so the thinking was, well, you start to think about this stuff differently. What if you could show it on the character and no need for this other piece of information? And the way you could do it would be a pulsing green on the character that stays for the duration of the effect, and these negative green numbers are popping off your character. Like, are there other ways to do without being ridiculous? Obviously, that was the point of the conversation. It was really interesting. So
it's a thing that just seems natural when you play a game, but it's actually somebody's got to decide.
Yeah.
That's a decision. It's like conversation.
And they have to, balance it with technical and artistic and, overall vision and all this other stuff, which is why that show's so much fun to do. So if you guys haven't heard it, it's monthly. It's over at frogpants.com/street. And it's Greg and his new studio and all his employees. They come on once a month and we just talk about an aspect of what they're doing. They're going to get me play test access. I can't wait. I said, I have 3 hosts on Core, but they didn't respond to that.
They didn't know.
Did
Yeah.
you say that? I can't remember. I remember them offering you that access. I don't know if you said that.
I
part
didn't
about
say
the
that,
3
but
hosts.
I'm going
You
to
didn't say that. They need to know. This is important information.
I mean, Greg knows, but behind the scenes, I will ask Greg. I'll say, hey, if you're going to do this, you should give us all. We should all get on the playtest. They'll sign NDAs, and you guys are good secret keepers. It'll be fine.
I've got
yeah,
great
totally secret.
feedback. I don't mean to shock anybody, but I think I'm a real prolific feedback giver.
It's pretty epic. They feedback that
Yeah,
you've
well, I
given.
don't know. Maybe you shouldn't give it to John. Maybe the.
Here's
I've
what
got-
you'll
I've
get.
got-
Here's
my
what
notepad.
you'll get from me in terms of feedback. If I end up not getting a key for this, that's fine, because I'm not gonna say I'm not gonna do it. I will let you know. I will definitely tell you, and it will not be filtered.
Yeah. That
It
we
will
can
be
promise.
polite
Do
because I respect the hell out of anybody that does this job. It will always be polite.
Yeah.
But I will not sugarcoat it. If I think
No,
something is dumb,
I-
I will tell you 100%. I promise you I will tell you it's
Yeah.
dumb.
Yeah.
They need that feedback. It's actually a really good thing for them.
Oh yeah, and they know that. The reason they're doing this so nakedly is for that reason. They don't want to play the PR dance anymore. They're done. They've all been at Blizzard or Riot or some combination of those things, and they're all sick of that shit. It's the one common thing I noticed through everyone I've talked to on his team so far, including him and Holinka and all these guys. You can just tell how relieved they are to be out of that shackle, because they don't want to hold back. They want to be able to talk about hard questions and then address them, and sometimes make huge mistakes in public, and then it's okay because they're going to fix it in a patch, or they're going to take feedback in like really raw, real ways, not this dance that always
I mean, that's
happens.
kind of how the whole the whole idea of playing online video games started anyways, before it was cool and a big corporation was behind it. There's a bunch of nerds trying to make an awesome thing. Like, would you guys play a thing I made if it was like this or whatever? You know what I mean? Like, it's
Right.
just
Right.
the vibe is it's like it's a weird hobby. It was like I remember the 90s and the early 2000s
It is a
and telling
weird
people,
hobby.
"Hey, I there's a mud I play in," and people going,
What's a mud? You
You're a
playing in the
little
mud?
old to be playing in the mud, kid.
"Yeah," or well, it just sounded like a weird cult thing, or just weird for like people. You couldn't talk to people about it.
Yeah.
So the people who were making those things, it was only for the audience of people in the know, right? It wasn't like, man, we got to talk to marketing and better get legal involved. And no, don't tell them the new product is coming down the line. It's like, this seems it still feels so foreign to me. It's the reality we live in, obviously, but it's such, I don't know. It's the spirit of the thing. And I guess it makes me happy to hear that they're enjoying being away from corporate land, I guess, basically.
Yeah. I mean, I even asked him, I
Yeah.
said, now, if I get to be in this playtest, I'm going to pick that silver robot looking thing from the Unreal Tournament library that you guys are using. And they just embrace it and go, yeah, well, we just barely hired the animator that we're going to, have head up that department. And we haven't had time to do any of that yet. So the playtest, they are running a playtest. It's already up and running. It just looks like shit, and they know it. Because that's how games are made. This is what you do. This is the sketch phase, and you build it out and you do your thing. So yeah, we'll probably end up getting a whole of, at least getting playtest access, and then, who knows what the long-term release schedule is for the game. But
yeah, people are asking in chat, can we play it? How's too much? It's literally in a garbage state.
oh yeah, but also they will have public playtests, and they're going to do all that
with
stuff.
every game. It's not a comment on it. It's just there's a point where you're just playing with abstracts.
They'd be the first
you're
to
not
tell
going
you.
to spend a ton of time and effort and money on something that may not make it to final release. Like, that's just silly.
Yeah. The comparison I make is let's say you're making a card game and you've got a great idea for the whole thing, but you're not going to go and print your first draft of cards and do all that expense and all that time and all that whatever and minimums so that you can then go, okay, did that work? Oh, shoot, we need to make this change. Now you're going to go do it all over again. It doesn't make sense. You have to think of an artist. You start with a pencil, you build on top of that, and before you know it, you got your beautiful painting. But it takes some sketch, So that's where they're at, and it's fun to be involved in that. So I'm glad you mentioned it, because I don't mention it enough on I'm a terrible marketer, by the way. I'm awful at it.
Yeah, we all are. I think we have that in common, all of us. But
Crappy marketing. Here at
there
Dark
are
Pants.
core bonus shows going up, and there's word on the street Scott also does Film Sack and the Morning Stream.
Yeah.
And what else do you need to plug? Skim. And Monday
Skim,
Show,
Play Retro, Monday Show,
Play Retro.
my
How could
diary
I forget
things.
Brian Dunaway? What a
Yeah.
jerk I am.
Oh, that guy.
Um,
What are you gonna do? You know?
And there are tons of shows. Just be sure to tune into all of them. Great content.
Yeah, it's good stuff. By the way, I by the end of today's show, I will have doodled a small Mario on this blank piece of card here, and we will be having a little tiny contest in the core Discord for someone who wants that mailed to them anywhere in the world. It's a couple of stickers plus an original sketch.
Mario.
Yep,
Nice,
just a little
small
Mario.
Mario.
Yeah, a little Mario dicking around doing what he does. All right, finally, I just did this today. And part of it was because I'm just feeling the From Software draw right now.
I was so excited you did this.
So the summer sale also started today. I don't know if anyone noticed, but Steam is full of deals. And I've been buying little stuff here and there. Oh, I didn't even mention Dice and Fold. I'm not very far in, but Dice and Fold is very good. I'll say more next week when I've had more time. But it's another one of these roll some dice, put them in cards, have an effect, work your way up through your Slay the Spires type thing. I think it's pretty neat so far. So I'll talk more about that later. But as part of today's sale, it wasn't like a huge sale. I think it's normally $59. It was down to $44. Armored Core 6. A game I slept on because I just wasn't sure. John even gave it glowing reviews. I don't know what my problem was.
I tried so hard to sell you on this game, both of you. I thought both of you would like
Yeah,
it.
you really
And
pushed it, and I was like,
failed on this.
yeah.
But now you finally pulled the trigger.
I think maybe you could say you succeeded. It just took longer. You know, life is mysterious. You don't know how things are going to pan out or when. But I loved the old Armored Core games back in the day. I think I played 4. And they were good. I played them kind of casually, but I played them, and I thought they were really cool. So I was really looking forward to this. And the teaser that we all saw at one of these events and did commentary on was one where this was shown. And I remember going, oh, hell yeah. Because this looks, I mean, the vibe in this thing, holy shit, I'm getting this game. And then I just didn't. And I don't know what my deal was last year, but I didn't. So I grabbed it today. I'm only gotten to that first boss, which is basically a tutorial. You know what I'm talking about, John, the whole initial, you've crash landed, now they send you off and you go fight the one thing.
They Elden Ring you on that first boss.
Yeah,
It's
they
like, hey,
do.
look at you. You're doing so good. You're blowing things up. It's a boss, and
Yeah.
he's here to mess you up.
Yeah, he is not messing around, and you're having to learn. There's more depth there. But that game is freaking cool. Stuff is heavy and loud and chunky and just landing on the ground. I just feel like I'm shaking everything. And, you know, as I was maybe a little worried that the speed of the game, which is a lot more action oriented, you know, but the thrusting and stuff seems like it's very fast. And I thought, well, that's going to make it feel like paper. It's not the same as like a big, heavy mech warrior, you know, clunk, clunk kind of thing. But I was wrong. It's fast, but it's got heft and momentum, and stopping takes a second to skid to a stop. And you got missiles, and you got, you know, your main gun, you got a melee attack, and it's all in this like dreary post-apocalyptic looking future planet world that really draws me in. That game is cool, but I'm only to that boss, and I got killed before the show. So that's where I'm at. I don't know how to beat it yet. I'll figure it out. But it's real good, dude. That game's cool. I shouldn't have waited.
And then it's just like picking missions, and it's like, all right, do something like that again. And in between, how much do you want to make your mech look like a transformer?
Right.
And go ahead and paint it. How much of a shockwave do you want this robot to look like?
Yeah, and it turns out a lot because Van is so into.
I remember a lot of conversations about this.
Yeah, he's so into Transformers right now that I got to paint this as soon as I can.
Does he have a favorite? Who's his favorite?
I asked him. It's funny. I asked him just the other night. So I said, what's your favorite? He goes, Optimus Prime. And I said,
okay.
Do you have anyone else? And he goes, Bumblebee, sort of, he says.
Sort of.
And I said, what about a Decepticon? And he goes, Pops, those are bad guys.
Well, that's nice. He hasn't, the world
like bad
hasn't
guys.
turned him into a Decepticon
Yeah,
yet.
he's basically he's basically as pure as sweet as a kid as can be, and I dread the day that all that innocence gets taken from him.
Yeah,
But
the day he comes home and he's like, I'm more of a Shockwave fan.
Yeah.
man," and you know it's gone bad. That's when you know everything has taken a turn.
I mean, I told you
Which,
guys about the time he showed me his, because he got a what's his name? What's the jet that's always arguing with
Starscream.
Starscream? Jeez, he shows me the Starscream figure he got, and he goes, "Look, it's Optimus Prime." I said, I think that's Starscream, and I didn't know how he felt about it yet. I go, "I think that's actually Starscream, bud." And he goes, "No, it's Optimus Prime." And I said, "Why do you think that?" And he goes, "Blue and red," and he's telling me all the reasons why. Because he does, shares a lot of colors with the OG thing.
He's heroically painted Starscream.
Yeah, he really is. He's just a dick. And I said, well, you know what, bud? I know you love Optimus Prime, but that's Starscream. And he was mad at me. I was like, Starscream is a bad guy. I only have good guys. And he kind of stomped out of the room. So,
See,
yeah.
my son, the only Transformer name he knows. Well, no, he does know Optimus Prime, but he doesn't say it very often. But my son will occasionally refer to any jet as Starscream. Like, doesn't matter what jet toy, he goes, "Dad, Starscream."
Yeah.
And he gets so excited about it. I think my son's a Starscream fan.
He probably is. And I would have been, when I was a kid.
Surprise me.
When I was a kid, I liked all of them, and I was cool. I thought, like, Soundwave, nothing could be as cool as Soundwave back when I was a kid. But for some reason, he's really locked into how they behave in the comic or the cartoon. So it's like, who's the good guy? Oh, my brain's not working on Transformers tonight. Too many fantasy games with swords and shit. I forgot the name of Meat Pack. What's his name? Meat Pack, not Jazz.
Meat Pack.
Something road jank. Tricky Dick. I don't know the name. I can't think of it.
What is it from? Like episode series?
Early stuff. So like Road. Maybe not Road. Who's the one that's always helping people? Not Roadblock.
Sideswipe.
No.
Who's always helping people?
Yeah. He's always like, Road Jack. Give me a hand.
Wheeljack?
Wheeljack. Shit. That's it. Wheeljack.
All the Autobots are helping each other. I really didn't narrow it down.
He calls him Windjack, and he refuses to say it any other way.
Windjack.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
Windjack's pretty good, actually. I like that name, Windjack.
And Ratchet, not Ratchet. Anyway, he loves them all.
Fun.
He loves all that stuff, and he always asks me, like, if I'll draw a robot, he'll go, "What's that?" And I go, "That's a Transformer." And he'll go, "Is that a Decepticon or Autobot?" I'll say,
"Oh no," he's like, "Don't you be drawing Decepticons." Does he know you drew Shockwave?
Yeah, he does. I showed it to him.
Okay.
And he's like, "He's not a good guy." I said, "I know. I go, but I sent it to a guy who's a nice guy who likes Shockwave, and he understood. He got it.
Yeah. One day, Shockwave will be appreciated by all.
Mastodons.
I do feel kind of bad though, because I've been trying to get Bo to read the new comics that are coming out.
Yeah.
I'm so excited because Shockwave finally showed up. I haven't read the issue yet, but I got spoiled by an article a little bit, and it looks like Shockwave might kill Ratchet.
Oh shit!
Oh no!
I was like, maybe Bo shouldn't read these comics. Although, actually, okay, here's a moral conundrum here.
All right.
Let me ask you this:
All right.
if Shockwave turns into a gun, and Soundwave shoots Ratchet with that gun, who killed Ratchet? Did Soundwave kill him, or did Shockwave kill him?
I think they both did. I think that's a
that's a 2-on-1 situation.
Yeah.
So the two waves are in trouble. The wave
also,
brothers.
they were not trying to kill Ratchet. They were trying to kill Cliffjumper, and Ratchet didn't want to see someone die and jumped between them.
Oh, that's awesome. Yeah,
Yeah.
that's classic Ratchet. Okay, I like this now.
Yeah, classic Ratchet or Clatchet is what we say when we say that.
Exactly.
Mastodons
Although
in the
I
chat
would have
asks,
much rather kept Ratchet than Cliffjumper. Cliffjumper can go.
Well,
Yeah.
I don't. Yeah, Cliffjumper. It's really funny because like there's an episode of Transformers where they all jump over a cliff, and the one Transformer that doesn't make it is Cliffjumper, and he is hanging off the side. And he needs to be helped up.
Yeah, that's a weird choice, isn't it? I wondered about that.
It doesn't look intentional. It just looks. It's like whatever. One of the Transformers gets tangled off. Like they didn't think about the name.
Yeah,
Like
yeah.
the guy who's named after literally cliff jumping can't jump over the cliff.
Mastodons or Mastodons. Yeah, Mastodons in the chat says Beast Wars yet. We started a little Beast Wars and he likes it. It's a little freaky looking to him. It should be. It's weird. It doesn't look it looks weird
Makes
now.
sense.
It's bad animation. It looks kind of shitty in ways that are kind of ungainly and weird now. So I don't know if he'll stick to that one, but he's mostly you'd like it, Bo. He's a G1 fan. He just likes all that old shit.
Yeah, that's right.
Yeah.
Got taste.
He's
Yeah.
really into it.
I know.
I mean, I would be up for a Beast Wars revisit. Like they should do something new.
People like what they like. If you like Beast Wars, I'm all for it.
Yeah.
I'm here for you, buddy.
Maximus. No, what was his name? Primal. Maximus Primal.
Optimus Primal.
Optimus Primal. Thank you. Maximus Primal.
Maximus Primal.
Maximus Primal.
I mean, they all
Well,
sounded
weren't they
right
called the
names to me.
Maximals? Is
Oh
that
yeah, they
right?
were the Maximals. Yeah.
Yeah.
Maximals roll out or other whatever else they said. I don't remember. I used to think that stuff was the bomb, and now it looks bad. Anyway, I also thought they got Peter Cullen to keep doing his voice, and they didn't. It was somebody else doing the monkey. It's a bit of a problem.
Technically, that's a
Anyway.
different character, so that's fine.
It's fine. It's totally fine. All right. That's what I played. And again, like I said, Dyson Fold, I'll talk about more next week. It's pretty cool. Someone sent me a code and I forgot that we had 3 hosts. Oh, that reminds me. I'll also be giving away. You know what I'll do today? The person who wins the sketch will also get a copy of Hitman World of Assassination because I have a code. And I checked with these guys first, but they both have it. So do I. So I was like, well, who do I give this to? And I think that's what it'll be. So if you don't already have that, you're missing out. It's amazing.
That's awesome.
One of the greatest
It's a
sandbox
great game
games
to get.
ever made. And it's like all 3 games in one now. It's like a whole thing. There's some DLC coming out for it too, which is why I think they sent me a code. But anyway, someone will win that and the sketch. What a day. What a life. What a lovely day, as Nux would say in his car. All right, moving on. John.
Yeah.
Prepping like a wild man for tomorrow. What is tomorrow, you say? It's the great day for all of us, John. What is it? What are you doing?
Well, it's early access day for Final Fantasy XIV Dawntrail.
Yeah.
It's 7.0. It's time to start my summer vacation. Summer begins tomorrow for me officially. Look, here's the truth. I knew that I was going to be switching gears to Final Fantasy XIV this week pretty heavily. So I did nothing but play Elden Ring. We've talked that to death. So this is just me saying Final Fantasy XIV is coming back. I'm excited. I can't talk about it yet because the servers are down and they're not coming back up until tomorrow. But
Oh yeah, I was
then
going to ask if they were.
it's time to go.
They did this last time with the last expansion. The whole thing's down for a good day before, right? Or something
Yeah,
like
2
that.
days, 48-hour maintenance window.
Damn.
While it all goes down and
That's
gets
wild.
tested and gets set up and all of that.
That seems like 2 things at play. One, that seems insane for an MMO to have 48 hours of downtime. But then it also makes sense that Final Fantasy fans are okay with it. Do you know what I mean? More than like, say, if WoW said, hey, in the next 48 hours, sorry, we're off, I feel like people would kill somebody would kill
There
somebody.
would be 500,000 YouTube videos going, the decline of Blizzard.
Yeah. Yeah, but this...
Yeah, I don't know. Yeah, I guess it is a different breed because we're just like, and here's the funny thing is everybody just celebrated it. Like 2 days ago, everybody was just doing the like, hey, we're sending this expansion off. Let's party until the servers go down. Like it was all a positive, good vibe. People were having parties in the game, having social get-togethers. Everybody was picking where they were gonna log out for the big 2-day maintenance and how they were gonna spend it. So
Yeah.
it is a little bit different. Everybody just was like, yeah, cool. All right, it's down for 48 hours. We'll see you when it comes back. What a time.
Yeah.
But they did a cool thing. They got word out that like they opened new servers preemptively
Mm-hmm.
and they said, okay, if you want to avoid logging queues, one of the things you can do, because they have server transfer right now with the game, you can transfer your transfer is the wrong word. Server visitation. So basically you can go visit somebody on a different server. They said we're opening servers with the idea that you can for one, you can build characters there, new characters, but also if you want a better chance of avoiding queues for login, you can set your character to go visit those servers and log out. And then when you go to log in on the day the game comes out, you're logging into a server that's far less populated. So you're more likely to avoid queues, which also reduces the traffic to the current one. So it was kind of a cool way to try and preemptively get ahead of the like inevitable queue situation that's coming up.
Right. Well, it's you're gonna. I mean, I can't wait to hear what you think. You're gonna get early time. Do you expect any? I don't know. Last time was crazy in the queues, like you mentioned, and all that. But do you think will this be smoother than the last one? What was it called? Ashbringer, Bumbringer, Ding Donger. What was it?
Endwalker.
Endwalker.
Yeah.
Ashbringer. Wrong.
The Ashbringer.
Wrong game.
You get sued for that. Yeah. What happened there? Like, what do you think they've learned any lessons, or do you think it doesn't matter? It's just going to be crazy.
Yeah, I think they've put. So one of the big things that caused the last expansion to struggle was one, it was in the middle of the pandemic, and they had a hard time getting the materials they needed to open up new servers. There was, I don't remember what it was. There was a shortage of something.
No, they probably had
time.
data center issues because that's when the game got popular.
Yeah.
Remember, nobody was playing it. Then all of a sudden, everyone was playing it.
Oh, that's right. Yeah.
It
So
was during the pandemic, and Next Pack was being released, and they had way more customers than they thought they would. So I'm guessing this time around.
So they have
They'll run
plans.
better.
They did say in one of their live letters that they can basically open new servers at the push of a button right now. So if they feel the need to open up servers, they said it's very easy for them to do so right now.
Wow.
So they seem ready to go, and we'll see how it goes.
It's a push of the button. Sounds expensive. You know.
It does sound expensive. It's a push of a button, and we just
unless you were subbing and logging in.
Because if it's that simple, there's no way that's cheap. There's no. In fact, they're like, don't push that button unless you freaking have to. Is what's going on over there.
Yeah. So I don't know. We'll see. I'll report back next week how it all went, but I think I think there will be queues, but I as far as MMO launches, like it was a long wait to get in at times. Like it was definitely a case of I would like to play a few hours from now, so I'll start trying to log in now, which is a weird situation to be in, but depending on when you played, you could get in, and it was ultimately fine. Like it was still one of the more stable MMO launches I've ever played. I was very rarely disconnected, and it was just queues waiting to get in, which is not a terrible problem. It's better than technical issues or DCs or server instability.
Yeah, good point. All right, well, big day, everybody. Get in there and get ready for more. More of that. Bo, you played Orc Massage 3. Check out my green testicles in VR. Oh, I made that up earlier. You didn't actually
play
that.
Orc Massage. No. Although I should play Orc Massage. That's another game on my list that only got 20 minutes in.
Yeah.
I should play a little more.
I heard Sword and what's Sword and Sorcery? Well, there's a really popular one that was in early access for a long time. It hit 1.0. I thought maybe you'd know what's going on with that. It's the one that's super the ones where it's the VR game where you can really jam a knife into somebody's head.
Oh yeah. Sword and Blade, I think.
Sword and Blade, is that it?
Mountain Blade. No, that's a different game. I know what you're talking about.
Whatever that one is, the one they always meme on, there's like a Spider-Man thing you can do, but whatever. That
it's
thing.
Not Mountain Blade, hang on, it's Sword
and Board.
Hang on, I have it on my VR list. One second.
Sword and Board.
Poke and Joke. I have no idea.
Poke and Joke. Well, that's an adult
But
game.
that thing hit 1.0, I think, and I thought of you because I went, I wonder if he
Let me
knows.
see here. I can't keep up with all these games. Where's the game? Oh my god. Find the game in my list, please.
It's like Sword and Sorcery and Swords.
Chat suggested
Blade
Mount
and
and
Sword.
Do.
No,
Oh,
Blade and Sorcerer.
Oh,
VR Fantasy Sorcerer.
Blade and Sorcery. Sorcerer?
1.0, the end update is available.
Yeah.
Oh shit! All right, no,
Yeah.
I actually missed this.
I just saw it in passing and thought, I bet Bo's at least
thanks for
thinking
the
about
heads
that.
up.
So, yeah.
Yeah, this game. I mean, it's I don't know if they've added actual campaign or whatever, but it is a sword fighting sandbox that's really, I mean, if you want to feel what it's like to really stab another person.
Yeah.
This game, that's
And
what this game
how
does.
How do you know?
What? Well, it feels real. But I can't compare it to real life. It's just
Uh-huh.
like
Yeah.
you literally grab them by the neck and run your blade through them, and they go.
Yeah,
The life leaves their eyes.
Bo
like
had
if
a real personal. Sounded like he had a real personal experience with
He's
stabbing
like,
somebody.
it's the closest thing to real life to stabbing someone, and
Yeah.
I should know.
Yeah.
I've stabbed many a person.
I don't really know what it's like, but it's what I imagine. It's the closest that I've gotten to.
I look forward to your Netflix true crime documentary.
They say they didn't see the warning signs coming, but this clip from 2024 shows that Bo Schwartz was thinking about stabbing people 2 years before
That's right.
he actually committed the crime.
Here's
you're not
the-
wrong. Like it's. I mean, you're wrong. I've never stabbed somebody, but like when I play VR games, like stabbing is awesome. like I don't like just running blades through people is like. I think maybe I get why in medieval times they did so much war.
Yeah.
You know, they had a good time.
They're into it.
They loved running blades through each other.
Very tactile experience running blades through each other. I think hitting those ribs just right, all that stuff. Here I have some audio of Bo's first victim. Here it is. It's a shame.
I do have, I did. I have a clip somewhere of me cutting off people's heads in that game.
Oh,
Because it's really hard to decapitate, but if you swing hard enough, you can get a decap.
So you're telling us you had no idea Bo harbored these tendencies? No.
No, I had no idea.
I've been talking about this for a long time. I think if you're a regular listener and you don't know that about me, that I get some real enjoyment out of stabbing people in VR, and you haven't been listening, you haven't been paying attention.
Yeah, it's clearly it's a passion for you, and we're gonna find out more if you have that. I thought you had it.
I posted that to TikTok. Like Assassin's Creed's pretty good for that too, because instead of pressing X, you flick your wrist out and the blade comes up, and you go right in the neck.
Oh my gosh, really?
That's how you play that game.
That is a little gnarly, I have to admit.
Like it gives you a whole new relationship. Like it's like, oh, this game is so realistic. I press X and look at the graphics. But VR is kind of like, what if you just did all the motions? Like a picture. Hang on, picture having a mannequin in your house and just say, I don't want to hurt anyone in real life. I just want to practice stabbing. And then your partner comes home and finds you on the floor with the mannequin. You've got a cobra clutched and you're just stabbing. Like, like he'd be concerned about you, right?
Yeah. I mean, you basically sold.
So, Bo, when I talked to him, when I knew him before the murders, he seemed like a gentle guy, but occasionally he just, he would talk about the satisfying feeling of a blade touching flesh.
Yeah.
And that was a little weird. But, he was always talking about shitting in lakes, and he kept it light, and we didn't know. We didn't know, and you just don't know about someone until you know.
Yeah, you think you know, right? You think you know who your friends are and who's got the knives and who don't. But no, not this guy. I gave John a little face mark there.
Thank you. Keep
You're
me
welcome.
anonymous, please.
Yeah.
I mean, keep that person anonymous.
Yeah.
You got to do the Team Fortress 2 guy in the shadow picture.
Speaking of, let's save it for next week. There's somebody yelling at me from a field in Elden Ring and telling me to come find him, and I can't find him.
Yeah, he's invisible. He's been turned into a bush. You got to go over by where he's talking and hit a bush, and then he'll appear.
I have to smack a bush.
Yeah.
All right, like my college days. Oh yeah.
Yeah, just smack a bush.
Smack a bush every weekend. All right, excellent. Well, this has been good. We're going to take a break. When we come back from our break, we're going to do a Dear Martha. We got an awesome one from the community, so we're going to take care of that and cover some other news stuff, a couple quick bits of information, and some feedback from you guys. So please come back shortly. You hear? All right.
All right, then I guess I'll be right back. Then.
Let us all go pee, or whatever you do, whatever you need. Here, I got to unpause everything. And we're back, everybody. Welcome back to the program. It's time for
anything inappropriate at all. It's fine.
Yeah, everything was fine. Nothing weird happened between the break at all. Nothing at all. We are going to talk though about some improv from John. John does this thing. He calls it Dear Martha. And it's like a letter from the front, you know, in the Civil War style type thing. But it's usually around gaming. And sometimes we have you guys come up with suggestions. And Satan's Slurpee in our community, I see him in chat a lot. He's in our Discord. That's where I got it, was Discord. He
I don't know about you, but I don't want to be Satan Slurpee. You know what I mean?
it doesn't seem like the
name,
best flavor of Slurpee to go with, but
it's a vibe. Like
maybe
Elden
it's
Ring.
that Crimson Lake thing you were talking about, or Crimson Bog, or whatever it was in Elden Ring that you were trying to describe earlier.
The Lake of Scarlet Rot or whatever.
Yeah, that's like a Satan Slurpee. I like that. Yeah, anyway, he suggested this. Here's his question: why is it that so many games are trying to be the only game you play? Okay, so John, that's your subject. Why so many games want to be a game as a service that you are only playing that and nothing else? Fortnite, whatever it is. Okay. Why do so many games try to be that? That's our question. Are you ready to roll?
Sure, let's go.
Let's go. Whoops, that's too quiet. Let's fix that.
My dearest Martha, I was hopeful when I first started this letter to you. I thought for sure things are winding down. The long-awaited Elden Ring DLC is released, and surely once I can overcome the many challenges of the lands between, I would be able to finally return to you, our daughter Sophie, our son Sofrit, our other daughter Sophitia, our other son Sofernando.
So Fernando.
However, Martha, I'm afraid I'm just not going to be able to make it this year. You see, on July 11th, Phase 4 of WoW Seasons of Discovery is coming. And that's to say nothing of preparing for the inevitable August release of the new expansion there. Final Fantasy XIV Early Access begins in just a couple of days, and I've got to get in there. In addition, I don't know if you know this, but Pirates of the Caribbean is coming to Fortnite, and I've certainly got to buy that additional battle pass to grind. You know, in addition to the current battle pass that I have to get my Fallout characters and my Captain Jack Sparrow characters so that I can continue to use the same skin that I've been using for 7 years in Fortnite. But it's not about what skin I use, it's about the skins I've collected. What if I want to change it one day? I need to have these options. In addition, Martha, the Steam Summer Sale is on, and, well, I think I'm going to get Mortal Kombat 1. My understanding is that I just have to grind to get all the cool skins for my favorite characters. I'm a classic fan, so I'm going to be seeking out the classic Green Ninja version of Reptile. I don't know how many hours I need to play to achieve this goal, but Martha, I think it will be quite a few. That's to say nothing of my still remaining crippling RuneScape addiction. Martha, those trees are not going to click themselves. I can't just click the same tree. I have to go to other trees, Martha. You've seen this. You've seen me build. You know how this works. Early access. That's still happening. I haven't committed to Hades 2, but Martha, every day I get a little bit closer, and I think maybe today's the day. Maybe today's the day that I pull the trigger on it. Also, Diablo 4. It's still a video game. I might play someday. They said Loot 2.0 was this patch, so naturally I had to buy the Battle Pass, but I haven't progressed it far enough, so I think I do need to do some grinding in that. And maybe once all these chores are complete, Martha, well, then I have to keep going at League of Legends, because look, I have to be the best. And the only way you can truly be the best is to play at least 30 to 50 video games regularly every week to make sure you stay on top of them. Yeah. Yours in this life and the next. Best dad forever.
Wow. Somehow retaining the best dad forever and playing that much video game every
He
week.
got in early. Yeah.
Martha's husband has a lot of work to do. I don't envy him at all.
No, there's real trouble there.
Stop playing video games, folks. Don't let people tell you otherwise.
No, not if you're smart like us. Hey, look at what we got here. Some other news of note this week. Final Fantasy XIV made a tourism site for their game. And they hired Rhys Darby, or Reese, I think is how you say it. Reese Darby?
Yeah, I think it's Reese.
And I love
Reese's
that. He's awesome. Love that dude. And let's see. Is there... I want to see this. Can I see this? Yeah.
Yes, if you go click on the page, there's definitely a video on the updates tab that's worth the watch.
Let's see.
There's some stuff on social media, but the site actually has some videos of him.
Oh, yeah. Look at him doing his thing. Let's see.
Greetings. As my first act as interim deputy director of Tyrolism, I'd like to welcome you to our beautiful continent. I'll be making updates on the day-to-day goings-on, so you don't miss out on such exciting announcements as deals for balloon tours and new and delicious food vendors open.
How do we... It's an interesting tact. I guess I'm used to Blizzard doing weird, like, celebrity stuff. I like this. I think this is great.
This goes a little deeper. They have him performing an actual role, and I said, I don't know how interested I am really in playing Final Fantasy XIV, but I would watch the shit out of this guy's tourism show.
Oh, hell
Final
yeah.
Fantasy XIV.
Yeah.
Did you ever end up watching Our Flag Means Death?
Still haven't, but I mean,
It's so good. Like, he's brilliant in it. Like, his character and the way he, like, I wish he was real.
I love him and everything, so I'm sure I would like it. I just gotta watch it.
He's kind of playing that character here, I find, like, just positive, constructive, and trying to be a lead. Like, I don't know, just that whole vibe he's giving off is that character here.
Yeah.
But I love this. The second I press play on it, I'm like, I love this. Like, this is really good marketing.
Good job. Good job, Final Fantasy.
And the website is fun. There's a lot of fake products here. Like, if you click the inside the board, you can scroll down and see fake merch that doesn't exist. One of which absolutely needs to exist, which is a green hat that says "Some come for adventure, I'm here for," and then it's a picture of a taco. And I absolutely love this hat so much.
That's great. You want this hat is what you want. Look at
I
that
do
thing.
want this hat. That I'm mad that they are not actually selling this hat, but it's got health and wellness that you can do there. You can do acupuncture with cactars, island drinks, meditate with moblins.
Wow.
It's got information about the game buried in there under a lot of other things. There's been, like, on a lot of the pages, I think there's like warnings about a bunch of alpacas that have gotten loose.
Yeah.
That's got you hooked up here.
Yeah,
Oh, there we go. Perfect.
Yeah.
There we go.
Look how good that would look on you. It would be amazing.
Yeah, it'd be so good.
Yeah. Bo's not bad
great
either.
hat.
Let's see how Bo looks here. Hold on. Turn it a little bit.
Okay.
There you go. Yeah. It works.
It's a good hat.
Yeah. All right. No, this is cool. I like that they're doing
this. Travel advisory: loose alpacas. Alpacas have escaped their enclosure. No further action required. Just letting you know in case you like alpacas and want to pet one.
Nice. They're leaning in. I like it.
Hey, I had a weird thought though about Reese while we were having this discussion just now.
Yeah.
What if he played Anduin in another Warcraft movie or something? I think I want him to be Anduin. He'd make a perfect Anduin.
He would be very good. I saw something with him recently. What was it? Oh, there's an episode of when the X-Files came back for some new episodes in recent years. I don't remember how long this has been now. Probably 2015 or something. He was in one of those standalone kind of bottle episodes where it wasn't the full arc of the story. It was like a standalone alien thing. He was so good in that one episode. So if everyone skipped on that thinking, I've had it with X-Files or whatever, that is one to catch. He was very good.
Yeah.
Love it. I still wish
there's a dark secret on this website.
Whoa, what? What are we looking
so
for?
There's a chat, and you click it, and it's like, how can I help you? And let's see, you can... What did I click? Was it the bottom one? What can you tell me about Tyrol? Okay, so then it's telling you about all the zones you can visit, but then it says one's redacted, and if you ask about redacted too many times, it disconnects you from the chat.
Really? Okay, I'll say, what can you tell me? What can you tell me about it? Let's see what they say. Tyrol is a home, wide variety of cultures, creatures, and adventures, including such areas as the blah, 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 blah. And that if I click redacted, number 2, customer support says redacted again. I say, can you elaborate? You have been disconnected from the due to technical difficulties. This is great. I love this kind of bullshit.
And yeah, under discoveries, they do. So they're referring to a place called Solution 9, which has been teased. It's the cyberpunk looking city for anybody that has seen the stuff. But if you say, like, if you want more information on Solution 9, it asks for you to enter a password. I wonder if anybody has figured out what the password is. I wonder if it's alpacas.
This is amazing.
I'm going to try it. The password was not alpacas.
Oh, man. It was a good guess. I like your head with that. But.
What if it's redacted?
I think that's the idea, right? They don't want you in.
It's not redacted. I tried
What
it.
if it's 420 no scope 6969?
Skibbity toilet.
Maybe it's admin. I'll try admin. No.
Or Ohio or whatever it is. I guess Ohio means bad, according to the kids today. So if you say,
it
say
doesn't
something
seem to be timing me out. You could probably brute force this thing.
It's kind of funny though, because just I don't know, for a fantasy MMO, it's a weird thing, but I like it. I support it. But the full brunt of my support.
You think maybe the hints in the chat?
Oh, you know what? There's a whole meta game. I just found a Reddit dedicated to the password hunt.
Oh my. So now you're even deeper.
Do they know the page? Okay.
What if it's
this is a
restarting?
rabbit hole I'm going to end up going down.
There's your evening gone.
That's more than you thought. You thought it'd be a couple of quick built-in answers and that's it. There's more.
Wait, what's Restarby's character's name? And this
I don't know if we know. He's just the new director. The old
hello,
director
I'm the
went
new
missing, he says.
Oh, maybe it's the old director's name. Well, I don't think we're going to figure it out on this show, guys.
Yeah, I don't think we're going to be the ones to figure it out. Apparently, it might be a meta game. So get in there. Some people say that they looked at the Java and it says like it's fake, but I don't know. We'll have to see.
No, it couldn't be fake. There's got to be.
They could fake it, but
there was a weird half of a Post-it note hidden in there. So, or a postcard hidden on the website. So, I don't know. Now I'm gonna mess with this. I've got 8 hours before the servers go up. I got plenty of time to figure this out.
Well, you've found go down that rabbit hole and then next week report back if it was worth it. I'm guessing it won't.
No, I'll be playing the game by then.
Yeah, I'm guessing it won't be worth it if I had to guess, but who knows?
Yeah.
All right, well that's awesome. Also, Steam introduced a new game recording feature. It's basically Shadow Play, but Steam's version of it, and it works with the Steam Deck. It is in beta and has some issues. I tried to use it on my Steam Deck and I had mixed results. I didn't try it on desktop, so I don't know if anyone else has messed around with that, but that's kind of cool, Give us a little bit of the old, especially on the Steam Deck. It's like every portable in their donkey has a way to do that. Even your Ambernick will record some footage. The fact that it wasn't there is a weird thing, but it'll compete with NVIDIA's Shadow Play, and you can record recent stuff and share it with your friends, and post it and do whatever you want. Also, your unplayed games on Steam is a pile of shame and is like 19 billion copies or dollars, is it? According to some napkin math. Who put this one in? Is this you, Bo, to put this in?
Yes.
So
it was from the core chat. Like someone brought it up in the core chat. I was like, oh, that's interesting.
19 billion. So I did this the other day on that site. What's it called? Steam IDs Finder thing. If you go do I'll go look at Frog Pants. Anybody can do this to anybody's account. According to this, it thinks that my Steam collection value is worth $26,219. I'm sorry, $26,219.19.
That's at full retail.
At full retail, it takes I think the current day value of everything you have. Mm-hmm. So in theory, that's $4 less than it would be in a month when I go check on this again because
some prices do go
something
down,
will go
like
back
the-
up or whatever. Yeah, so it will fluctuate. But $26,000 worth of games. I mean, most of mine are codes, so it's not really. In fact, I'm looking at on the top 10. It tells you your most expensive games. My most expensive games, I've not paid for anything over $69.99. But also 3 of these were codes, and they're in that range, so it doesn't really count. But anyway, kind of cool.
Yeah, like it'll count your codes and stuff too. But I mean, that's the point. It's just looking for the current value, right? It's not necessarily the actual revenue or anything.
Yeah. Are you Gaforath or what are you on there? I forget. What's your deal?
It's X Gorath. It's just the letter X in Gorath.
Let's go look here and see what we can do.
Because Gorath was taken, and I just did that. So
X Gorath.
although I think I might just be Gorath now.
It says. Oh. So, all right, this is interesting. This won't show up for people unless they turn on a certain privacy setting. So yours won't show up unless you change that. That's fine. It says your name here, but
What's the site? Sorry, I'll go check.
it's SteamIDfinder.com. It's a public thing. It's not like a hidden deal. But if your account is set to some of that stuff is private, your purchases are private or whatever, I think it won't list.
I might have locked things up when I got fished.
Yeah.
through Steam. So that might be what's going on there.
Wouldn't
like especially if it's like web API stuff, that's how they hack you. So I shut that shit down.
Oh yeah, good idea.
If they get your account credentials, So
Yeah, good idea. Anyway, it's kind of interesting.
I'm sure it's a lot, but
$19 billion of
unplayed
unplayed games in people's accounts. Jeez.
Well, you because the reverse of the coin is I'm always bitching about subs, right? Like, oh, subs, I didn't even use it this month. What a waste of money. Well, who am I to talk if I have all these purchases that I don't play? Like, talk about burning money.
Yeah.
Although, like, in recent years, I've tried to get better. The show does, it's not a fault of the show. This is what we do. We recommend games and get excited about them. That's how it goes.
Yeah.
But it does spur me on to make purchases. And I see chat room too, kind of going, oh no. Sometimes when you're raving about a game and they're like, shit, I'm going to be buying it. But
yeah,
it is a tough thing to like make to know. Sometimes you really think you're going to play a game, when you buy it. You're like, yeah, I'll find some time to give this a try. And then you just don't end up doing it.
Yep.
So.
Sometimes it's nice that you go back to your library and I'll go, oh, I never did play that. And then you'll play it a little bit.
Yeah.
I've done
it's not the worst thing in the world, especially if you're like buying on sale. Like, I think the number one thing is that's a really good sale. I'll buy it now. That way I won't have to pay full price when I do feel like it. And over time, that should save me a lot of money.
Yeah.
That's the thinking anyways. I don't know how true it ends up being.
Not if you never play it, though.
That's true.
Exactly.
Cool. So there's that. Anybody play that banana game?
No. I have the strong suspicion we're going to find out it's installing spyware or something on your system.
Yeah. I didn't.
I trust this thing about as far as I can fling a banana.
They claim the devs keep claiming it's all on the up and up, but I don't know. This stuff's weird.
Last I heard about this game, I think I might have been watching a Bellular video maybe about it. There's a secondary. So when you play this game, you get trading cards on Steam.
Yeah.
Or no, you get items. It's kind of a quasi loot box. Like you keep clicking them, but you have a chance to get an item, and that item sells for like a couple grand on Steam Marketplace.
Okay.
So I'm like, well, isn't this just like worse Bitcoin farming? Basically, like, it's not obviously cryptocurrency, but in NFTs, but it's just, you click a button. And people are doing this clearly for financial motive, right? It probably takes nothing to run. I can probably run 82 instances of this on virtual machines, write a macro just to click and on all of them, and then try to mine for secondary market items. And I was like, this smells like a turbo scam. I'm like, I'm not even installing this shit. But it's like this huge phenomenon because I keep seeing articles and videos about, man, this game is so stupid. And it's like what you're showing right now. It's the third
most played game on Steam.
Has the record for third most concurrent players. It's like, yeah, Like, of course, a big like some money mining thing is going to get the attention of a lot of people who want to make a quick buck. Like
yeah.
it's scamware for sure. This thing should be ripped from the list. What an embarrassment too.
It is embarrassing. It's stupid.
I talk shit about Vampire Survivors. This actually was made in a weekend. Weekend is generous. Like
it was made on a
Tuesday. It's a
Yeah.
banana, and you click it, and it counts the number of times you click it. That's all it is.
Yeah, don't go
And
get
they're
this
making
game.
new skins. Like this is literally an embarrassment to gaming. I don't know why Steam's tolerating this thing on the store. To be honest,
Game worth money? You buy this, or is it a free to play deal? Do you know?
it's free to play. Yeah, it's still
wonder-
It's still an embarrassment, if you ask me.
I guess if they don't, I guess Steam has to. It's high profile enough that I think if they noticed some
Your
wrongdoing,
Gmail account has more functionality than this program, right? Or like it's. There's more effort to send an email than there is in clicking this banana. I don't know. John, do you have an opinion on this?
yeah,
I don't know. Like you said, it makes me feel sad, but like to me it's like Steam allowing it is not where my problem is. My problem is with the people that are engaging in it. Like it just makes you sad for the human race as a species. Like this is something that is successful on the grounds of people like buying in and participating in something completely fictional, and like they're doing it in droves, and it's just like, oh, all right. Like it makes me feel bad that I'm not rich.
Yeah.
Because it's like, oh, it's this easy to just prey on people and benefit from it. Like,
well, it is free to play, so I don't know how they're making money. That's the part of the scam I haven't figured out.
well, but if they're manipulating the Steam marketplace, it might not be like dollars in pockets. They're making a ton of cash money, but like the manipulation of the market board could be something that they could exploit and take advantage of.
Yeah, that's what makes me feel it's not trustworthy, because I
it's-
can't tell how they're making money or profiting from this.
It's just a weird thing. So I don't know. It just bums me out. Like that's all. It just makes me sad. Like
yeah, it's weird.
Don't do it, everybody. Just there's better ways to spend your time.
I'm curious if somebody in the audience has plays banana. Write in. Tell us why you like it. Like, I would like to hear someone's perspective.
I mean, if somebody clicked that banana and got an item that they sold on the marketplace and then was able to buy everything they wanted from the Steam sale because of it, like they probably feel pretty smart.
Yeah, I would like to know more. So if someone has plunged and spent a lot of time clicking this damn thing, we would like to know more information. Hey, Bo, why don't you catch us up on what's happening in WoW Season of Discovery coming up on the 11th?
Yeah, I want to spend some time putting the Clarion's call out because we have retired the rating in Season 3. I'm not sure if I formally announced it or not, but we can't quite muster 20 this far into the phase. It's summer. Lots of our players are adults that have plans, and there's playoff season for some players. They're like watching hockey and shit. So it's just been we usually get about 10 to 15, but we want the full 20. And so we just said, okay, no more rating until phase 4. And also, like, Elden Ring was coming up. I was getting a little fatigued from playing WoW and shit. But they've announced phase 4 coming in July 11. And I'm not going to lie, I'm pretty excited to get back to playing some WoW at max level, because that's where a whole deluge of content comes into play. So I'm putting that Clarion call in now for all the people who showed up and stopped showing up. Like, we're going to want to field 20 people for the core SOD raid group, so get in there, come give us a hand. It's Tuesdays and Saturdays. Tuesday 7 p.m. Eastern, and Saturday is usually around 3 p.m. Eastern. Is when we raid.
Nice.
So anyways, what's fun about coming here is we're getting Molten Core and Onyxia tuned for 20 players, so we don't have to do 40-man raids, which is nice.
Isn't this? But where are all the purest classic people when they make changes like this? Did they all?
Well, they're playing classic. Like,
Okay.
the whole point of this is to not be purist.
All right.
So.
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah. So it's all funky, and playing around with it's fine. And it's 20 players in those. Molten Core will have scalable difficulty, meaning if you play harder modes, you just get more drops. So it's not. You're not missing out on anything. It's just you'll gear your raid faster. This sounds great, So I really like the sound of that. Onyxia will be doable with 20 and tuned for 20, but you can actually bring up to 40 people. The difference is like there'll be more drops to spread around with more people, so do 20 or 40. But there you go.
Sure.
What's really cool, finally, is the sets are being updated. They'll have variant specs with new color schemes for different, the specs that were in the original game. So there'll be more relevant item chases for everyone. Non-set items will get updated. This I'm really looking forward to, because the toughest thing about gear at level 50 is I think they really hedged making exciting gear because they didn't want to invalidate 60, which isn't that far off. So the gear ended up being kind of pretty meh in Sunken Temple. Like it was like, oh, I got 2 more strength on my sod updated sword. So glad I got this. It's like, but I think they're gonna kind of go crazy now that it's max level and it's a season, like you said. They can just kind of do a lot of funky stuff. There's looking to be some pretty cool items, and that's exciting too. Another big one is world bosses will be instanced. So no more competition for rare world boss spawns and drops. You just have your own instanced. I don't know what exactly that looks like, but you'll be able to tackle those with a raid team potentially too. That's exciting. And they're doing this thing called Black Rock Eruption, which sounds like new dailies and new spawns inside the Black Rock mountain, including PvP and just all new activities all in the mountain. That seems awesome. And this is just particularly for the people who are doing raiding, particularly in our guild. They're moving to a twice weekly lockout, which means instead of doing a reset every 3 days or doing a once a week lockout, you can raid twice in a week, which it's flexible on your time, it seems like. So
yeah,
that's excellent. That means you can run with the same character, because we've had some problems too where we have all the characters we need for one raid, but not for the second raid. So a few people can reset their lockouts and we can fill as we need. So it's actually pretty cool to doing that.
It's pretty funny though. Isn't it funny though to see, and I know the point, John made the right point. The point is that season discovery is supposed to be, what if, basically, right? But it is funny to see them slowly each season go, let's sneak in a thing that we did once to the real game, not the real game, the retail game, to make it, here's a quality of life improvement. Smaller groups. You don't have to do 40. Not having raid lockouts for an entire week. They start adding back the stuff. I know they're not doing it to pure classic, and they won't, but it is funny because you're just seeing things happen that make sense.
I think it's just picking and choosing between, like, I don't want to say it's moving the goalpost, but it's like picking and choosing what is an okay improvement, like, and what is a bad one, right? Like,
right.
I hear these improvements and I'm like, great. The improvements I don't want are things like achievements, I'm all for season of convenience. Personally, they should do like a season of convenience season where it's just all super easy to traverse around, just get where you need to be. It's different for everyone. So, but I think like for the most part, like Dear Martha's letter perfectly encapsulated, you might want that old version of classic, but 500,000 other gaming experiences have come out since, and you do not have time. World of Warcraft, I can tell you firsthand, given having played it, it is a massive time suck just to get from one zone to the other, and to move around the map. So we don't want to be doing that anymore. And I think people just have to be okay with it in these seasons, because the players speak for themselves. There's a lot of drop off in season 3, and I think they got to make it enticing for people to come back. And I think people have this notion of the whole nostalgia, rose-colored glasses thing, right? Games should be like this. It was 20 years ago, but like actually it sucks, and we're 20 years later. So I'm here for my classic experience. I'm going to play this season and enjoy some of the stuff I didn't get to back in the day for myself, because I didn't play during vanilla era. So this is very fun for me. And then who knows? I guess it'll be time for the war within, and the core guilds will unite.
Yeah, they will,
both on retail and in classic, to go hang out in Chris Metzen's led world. And I'm looking forward to it, man.
Me too. I'll be back.
Man. I think it's special that he's there. I really, I don't know. I have a lot of anticipation, but I am really kind of looking forward to seeing what they're cooking. with the new stuff.
Also excited about that. A couple final things. Xbox Cloud Gaming is coming to Amazon TVs, so that's a thing you can look forward to. Some people think it's a huge deal. I think it sort of depends on how many Amazon TVs they sell, but that's a thing.
That's actually okay. So you don't need to have a console.
Yeah, it's just built in the TV, so it's cloud gaming. So it's as if you were, you can do the whole thing with Microsoft's xCloud is it can be kind of anywhere, but in this
you don't
case,
have a console. You just need like an Xbox account, and then you can stream the game from their servers, not your own console.
Correct. So it'd be the same as if you used your phone to stream Game Pass, or you used, I don't know, a myriad of other ways.
Chew a lot of bandwidth, but yeah, cool.
Hopefully, these TVs are optimized to get the best possible, latency and all that. I don't know how that'll go, but it is an interesting partnership. Capcom announced Dead Rising Deluxe Remaster. I like Capcom's remasters, so the idea that the original Dead Rising will get a remaster is very exciting to me because that game is rad.
People really like that game. Yeah.
It's such a bizarre, but in a cool way sort of thing.
Mm-hmm.
Like, it is one of the most fun sandboxes to play in.
By far, yeah.
And here, this will be my controversial take, because this is how I feel about Dead Rising. As a sandbox game to play is one of the most fun games that they've ever made. Yeah. It's super fun. And the setting and the way you play and all that, amazing. Yeah. If you go in and try to play the game proper, I hate it.
It's not a great game.
I don't think the actual game is good.
Well, part of it's got that timer in there, right?
Yes, I hate the timer. Like it goes to my just disdain for you only have so long to work on this and you're suddenly so rushed. I also really hate bullet sponge enemies, and I find it so funny that all the zombies you hit them with a garbage can and they're down. Yeah. But then you get to the psychopaths, which are just regular human beings, and you have to unload massive amounts of ammunition into them because they're the bosses. I mean, that's the point of it. But there's something about the design of the game that I'm just I hate playing the game. But running around just goofing off and doing dumb things in the mall, absolutely one of the most fun experiences in the world.
Oh yeah, it's really good that way. That's what I liked about it too. And the rumor is they're getting rid of that timer crap. That will no longer be a part of the game. Yeah, I think they have to, because
that seems kind of crazy, but I would be all for it.
Yeah,
that seems crazy.
It does seem a little crazy because it was so tied to the timer. I don't know how they'll do it, but that was the talk of.
You could probably just have still have a timer, but it doesn't elapse just with triggering events or something like that. Maybe. Yeah.
But it does look like they're using that engine again for their remake, which I really like. So that RE engine is awesome. And I will play this. If the timer's gone. If the timer's not gone, I'm not going near this thing. I'm not interested in banging my head against that wall again.
Do you not have an appreciation for it as because I never really played Dead Rising, so I don't know the pain of it, but as just this game has a unique difficulty about it or thing about it,
Well, that part is not. No one, even at the time, ever thought that was what was good about the game. All anyone could talk about was, oh my gosh, all the outfits and customization, and you can take that hockey stick and put blades on it and a motor and have it rotate the blades, and you can just create insane weapons, and it was just bonkers what you could pull off, and it was set in a mall, which is amazing because Dawn of the Dead's a classic, and the remake was really good too. And there's just something about mall zombies that make the whole genre click. And I don't know, there's just a lot to love.
It was kind of comedic too, right? There's an element of wackiness to it.
Yeah, okay. Definitely had that sort of. I don't know how to explain it.
Tongue in cheek.
Yeah.
Or B-movie feel to it.
Yeah, almost like how Resident Evil takes itself pretty seriously too. The characters take themselves seriously, but you can have fun in the world that's just ridiculous and stupid. And it's like that, even more so. Because he'd wear a big yellow banana suit while he's killing zombies. You're just why am I doing this? But you didn't care. It was too much fun. So they could really make something neat, I think. So I have a lot of high hope for this. And finally, Vampire Survivors coming to League of Legends. A mode anyway, not officially
I just thought I'd mention it because we got some pretty big Vampire Survivor fans here, and
Yeah.
well, the TFT was turned out to be a pretty popular mode. I don't think with us, but overall, a lot of people played TFT. So
Yeah.
maybe it's maybe it'll be a real winner.
It's still going, right? You can play Teamfight Tactics or whatever it is.
TFT's definitely still a thing. Still a
Yeah.
League of Legends extra game. They always got to do extra games. All these games, right? You can't
Yeah.
just have your Overwatch. You got to have Lucio Ball and stuff. So.
Yeah. Oh, Lucio
got
Ball was fun.
Yeah.
It's pretty good.
But those brawly modes or those different sort of modes they add to the environment. I think it's just interesting. I don't think any online game spaces have added a Vampire Survivors game yet. So it is interesting that League's going to have one. I wonder what it's going to end up looking like.
They were pretty quick on the auto battler tip as well with Teamfight. It was like, whoa.
That was a real fad, eh? I guess that fad's like done. Like people do play TFT and Battlegrounds, and I guess Dota Underlords is still a thing.
That's still a thing? Holy shit.
Yeah,
I forgot about that.
There.
Dota
but that was like
Lords. Yeah.
Yeah, I still have the ability to install it, I guess. When was the last update? November 2020.
That was only 2019 when it launched. I felt like that was a lot longer ago,
The
but I
last
guess not.
update was 2019. Let me just check the discussions. Is there anything recent?
Hire a crew, blah, 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 free to play.
How high can we count until Underlord Season 2? 14 hours ago. So yeah, that's kind of abandonware. People we often give Valve credit for making awesome games, but you do have to remember that they made Artifact and they bailed pretty hard on this fad too. I gotta say, because Underlords was fun. I remember playing it when we talked about it on the show when it launched. I liked it.
It seems like people are. I can't find the stats specifically, but I think people are playing it enough where there's people to play. It's like Heroes. It's just on live
how many
support.
concurrent players? What is that? What site is that? SteamDB or something like that?
I always forget. Is it SteamDB? DB. Hold on.
Database of everything stream.
I think that's correct.
Go to Underlords.
Banana's still in third, although Elden Ring is now beating it tonight with current player concurrency is beating it tonight.
Hey, look at you, Elden Ring.
Yeah,
You're
good
doing
job.
it.
Good job indeed. Let's see. Man, what must it be like to be the dude that made Stardew Valley? Good Lord. Look at all those people playing. 60,000 people playing that game right now.
People still love Stardew Valley. Something fierce.
There's currently 341,000 people playing Banana, but like this is all virtual machines and macros. Like I'm not convinced there's actually 341,000 humans.
Yeah.
Sitting there and clicking, going, "What engaging content?"
Or they might have it open while they're doing other stuff. Like,
yeah, but you do have to click it manually.
well, yeah, but I mean, like, click it and then I gotta do this. They just leave it up and running. Come back, click it
Have
again.
you seen the game run at all?
Yeah.
It like nothing happened. Like I just don't know how anyone can do that. Like it feels like I don't know the kind of humans that would play it. Sorry to go back to that, but anyways, it's
Johnny, you I forgot to mention this. The Riven remake came out and is getting
I know,
raves.
I gotta get it. I do like Riven a lot, except for the fact that there's one puzzle that's based entirely on math.
Yeah.
But beyond that, like they really they're like, oh, John, you figured out Myst when you were just a kid? Great. Here, we're gonna make a puzzle game that's impossible for you.
Yeah.
Because it involves numbers.
Yeah.
Shit.
interestingly enough.
But I have beaten Riven and I love Riven. Riven is actually super ahead of its time. Because like Myst set the world on fire, and then Riven came out and it didn't get a great reception, even though it was the sequel to one of the biggest games ever made.
Sure.
And it's simply because it came out and it was like 8 discs or something like that, like something crazy. And the problem is that you had to change discs every time you went to a different section of the island. So it was like this constant need to like, oh, I think this might solve a puzzle over somewhere else. Please insert disc, whatever. Okay, switch the discs out. Okay, now we go. And like, you can't have that in a puzzle game. Like when you think you have a solution, you need to be able to go and apply it immediately.
Yeah. Yeah. But that, I mean, it's different now, obviously. But this looks beautiful. I'm really impressed with what I've seen. I think our buddy, our fellow Frog Panther, Bill Duran made that knife in Riven, the dagger thing. It's like a big symbolic thing in the game. He made them a a replica of one of those, and then got to go to some release party over there.
Awesome.
Yeah, it's pretty cool. They're up there in Washington.
I love Riven. I love the Myst series in general. It's so good. It's so good. I've read the books. There were Myst books, and I've read them. That's how deep I went down that rabbit hole.
I mean, is it really? There are Myst books, and the books were good. Like,
yeah.
Well,
I mean, I like the game, so I liked the books, but I don't I don't know what to tell you compared to what.
Yeah.
I don't know if they were great works of fiction, but I liked the games, and so I therefore liked the books.
Yeah. Well, we'll see how that goes. Because we might play it and talk about it here. Let's move on to some feedback from our listeners.
That's a good question.
Sorry. Go ahead, Bill. Sorry.
I have
go ahead.
some information about Dota Underlords. There's 787 players playing right now.
Oh.
And the 24-hour peak's about 1,500. So it still has a player base, actually.
It's not terrible. There are worse games.
Yeah, it's maintained that average, of 1,500 for a while.
Yeah.
Anyways.
That's not bad.
I also wanted to let people know Orc Massage has 61 people playing right now.
Right now?
Man, we just need about 8 more.
Yeah. And we'll get our goal. We'll finally hit our goal.
Quick, 8 people log into Orc Massage right now.
Oh, that's amazing.
I did notice, kind of just going back to 2 topics, very quick. It doesn't need to be.
You're fine.
We don't need to dwell on it, but I noticed that for this expansion release for Final Fantasy XIV, Echo is doing a Race to World first for it. For the first time, they put together a team for it. So that's kind of cool, seeing that community rise up in a different MMO. So go Echo.
Yeah.
I don't know who all they're racing against. I don't know if but I did see that on Twitter today, and I thought that was kind of cool to see.
Well, there you go then. Twitter. What's that like anymore? Is it all right over there? I haven't been there in a long time. Okay.
You made the right choice.
Okay.
And especially right now, as somebody that I needed to remember who it was that I saw, so I went back to look. Tonight is a good night to not be on Twitter.
Yeah, I had.
Let
that's
me
a funny
tell
thing.
you right now.
People are
if
like,
you're not
you're
on
gonna.
Twitter.
People are like, you're gonna avoid the debates, and I said, I've got core. I got the perfect excuse to avoid this stuff, and I would either way. Either way, it was like kryptonite for me. I'm not watching that shit.
I mean, my Twitter account has the global ban on the word Trump and Elon Musk for like years and years now, so I don't see any of that.
You don't get any of that stuff? Well, they're having a debate. I'm sure it's terrible. I have zero interest. I'm sure if something important happens, I'll see it in a clip.
I got to talk some shit about Threads for a second while I have a pulpit, I suppose. But because I've been logging into Threads every now and then, and there's that not the following page, but the For You page is a bunch of randos. There's 2 things I need to less of in my life. And one is people posing math problems on Threads. Do you see these? Is it just me? They was like, I have $300.
No.
I bought a pair of shoes for $250. I sold them for $300. I bought another pair for $400. Sold them for $500. How much money do I have left? And then it's just like engagement farming because there's a bunch of to prove people are bad at math. Like I don't even know why. I'm like, use Excel. What is this content? Like stop. So there's a ton of that, and then people will not shut up about Star Wars Acolyte. And I don't have an opinion. I haven't saw it. It's just constantly. I'm just gonna take a moment to say my piece on Star Wars Acolyte, but it's endless.
Yeah, I'm going the Scott Johnson route with Acolyte. I'm not watching it while everyone's talking about it.
Yeah.
When I go to following, pretty much the only person's threads I see are Scott's. I think I'm following like 5 people on there, so it's just Scott.
Oh,
I'll tell you,
Sure.
I really only still use Twitter for the most part, just because I don't care enough about social media to log into different accounts. I have some, but I just don't. I'm not interested. And
sure.
But I did one. I got Star Wars Oreos at the store, and I found a Jabba the Hutt that looks like he's wearing a fake little mustache.
Mhm.
And I was like, you know what, this will be a fun social experiment. I'll post it on all the social media platforms just to see how it goes. And my experience from that was I still get more engagement on Twitter. Makes sense. That's where most of my stuff is, and I have more followers. I like Threads because I feel like I have more of a follower, like there's a lot of engagement there because it pulled so many people over. Like the number is high. I didn't have to I didn't have to work at that. It was like kind of given to me. But overall, I think Blue Sky is probably the nicest one of like if I had to pick one that I like right now, it would be Blue Sky.
I like the functionality of it. It just is. None of my people. My engagement's really low on there.
Yeah, that's the issue I have with it as well. But I
Threads-
like the platform a lot.
Yeah, I like it too. Threads has been great for just pure like discussion and people responding and having, going places. And I just haven't been to Twitter, so I don't. And I was having terrible numbers there anyway. I think I got shadow banned. There was a rumor floating around. I don't know if it's true, but if you had previous verification, which I did, based purely on them, they gave people verification back in the day for no reason. It's just if you were somebody. I don't know how I got mine. I didn't ask for it. And anyone who was like that had it stripped when the change happened, everyone I've talked to that was like me then, they all feel the same way. They just felt like suddenly the water got cut off. Just nobody talked to me anymore. It was weird. So I don't know if shadow ban, when people talk about shadow bans, I usually I kind of roll my eyes and go, that's nice tinfoil hat on why no one wants to talk to you. But I think there may be some truth to it because
I think it's probably double compounded because if you don't have a check mark, your shit's also not prioritized.
It's
like, just
going
for
to the
ping.
bottom. Yeah, it's not appearing at the top.
Yeah.
And also a lot of people, like your community would probably be heavier leaning in this direction around that same time was like, all right, well, I'm off Twitter. Like my engagement went down. I wasn't verified one way or another because a lot of my friends, a lot of the people on that platform stopped using that platform.
Yeah.
I think a lot of people who listen to the show aren't on the platforms, like judging by our core Discord, the Frog Pants Discord.
Oh, there's a huge
I'll
drop
often
off.
bring things up, like, I'm not on there. Like the chorus of people that are like, I don't go to these places,
Yeah.
and I'm like,
huge, a big uptick in Discord, a big drop off on Twitter. Like it used to be a place you could DM all the time, all that stuff. And when all these changes happened, I mean, it was a notice. I noticed. It was like, whoa, where'd everybody go? It just got a ghost town. And a lot of people I really loved following, they all left.
Yeah.
And we're on other platforms. And my thing with Twitter, it just finally got to a place where I was like, yeah, I think I'm good. I'm
My
outta here.
biggest issue is that I don't want to rebuild because I think what all of this has taught me is that I don't care as much as I think I care.
Yeah.
Because every time I go to Blue Sky and I'm like, well, I'll just if I like the app, then why not cultivate it? Why not start finding the people I want to follow? Why not start making the connections, doing the work? And then it's like, why am I doing it?
Mm-hmm.
yeah, well, you
But
usually get
for
started.
what? And then I just go.
You usually get started
well,
because it's cool and fun. So
Yeah.
the idea that it's a chore, like now I have to cover my bases, I have to be on 5 different. Like anyone doing that is probably hiring a social media manager or having help in some way.
Yeah.
Because like to maintain like 5 social media accounts to like cover the various different blog post updates and engagements you have to make in all places is like it feels like work. But it didn't start that way. It just microblog seems cool. I want to do what other people are doing and whatever, and it
Sure.
just seemed like fun. So it was more of a pleasure to do. And now it feels like pulling teeth. So there's got to be something fun that comes down the line on this front for I think for a lot of us to feel like we want to do it again.
Yep. I agree.
Climb that hill again. Anyway, sorry, I didn't mean to make this bitching about social media. What else is new?
No, it's good. People wanted a nice long show so they could be distracted from this other crap that's going on.
Sure.
So it's all good.
I can't remember how we got here, but Vampire Survivors.
My wife goes, when I was upstairs at the break, she goes, you're lucky you're doing the show. You don't have to watch any of the debate. And I said, yeah. And she goes, somebody on some show called it hold on. Not the felon. Oh, the criminal and the corpse or something like that. It's just like you look at that TV and you look at these two old guys and you just go, I'm not even ageist. There's some really smart old people. But these are just whatever. I don't want to get into it either. Why am I getting into it? It's a terrible choice. None of this is good. It's all bad.
The only reason we were talking about this is I was saying how lucky you were for avoiding it, and now you're walking into the waters.
Why am I doing that?
Don't walk into the water.
Yeah, I'm walking right into your red water from Elden Ring. What's wrong with me?
You're the horse from the never-ending story. You're going down. Where everybody's going to cry and be scarred for years about this.
That's right.
I think it comes with age. As the you find out your hero is immortal. You become more wise and see things. There's less magic. There's still magic in the world. But there's less magic from that thing. You kind of see some of these people in these positions and go like, how is this bad? Or you can't help but get involved when you see like there's something sad here that needs to be correcting, and I'm powerless to correct it, but it's my country, or like you don't want to take that whole like, well, I want to be uninvolved because that's how
you get there. But at the
that's
same
the Marge
time,
Simpson
here
thing.
we
One little
are.
voice can make a difference, kind of thing. So maybe I should be, and it's just like it's never ending.
No, it sucks.
Never ending thought circle, and then you just
I hate it. I'm just going to try to influence the people who live around me, who are part of my family, and try to do nice things in the world. What else can you do? What else can you do?
I think maybe just don't vote for the guy with the illithid tadpole in his head. That's all.
I like that you brought it back around to D&D. I like that.
Don't vote for a mind flayer.
I'm glad I lived long enough to see a presidential candidate who's like, I got a worm in my brain.
They didn't let him be in the thing. He didn't qualify.
Yeah.
I don't know what that means. He's claiming he's being blocked, but I think
it's racism against illithids, I think.
Yeah. Yeah.
If only fewer people had played Baldur's Gate 3, we wouldn't be in this situation.
Yeah. All right. Well, let's get to these texts. These are texts that we got. I may have made that clear already. 801-471-0462 is where these came to, and we got one from an anonymous writer who says, this one's for Core, you guys need to check out Dungeon Clawler. Okay.
Oh boy.
Think Slay the Spire, but but your deck
May
is
the fourth be with you.
He says, but your deck is all the items in the claw machine. Lots of fun mechanics, more strategy than you expect, and it's crazy good fun. I'm already addicted to the demo, says this person. Now, I thought this sounded familiar. This is a game that you can play on Apple Arcade, I believe. And it is coming to Steam. It's not out yet. There's a demo, but it's coming a little bit later. I'm very interested in this because I like dumb games like this, but also that game struck me as very cool, but I don't want to play it on mobile. I wanted to play it on somewhere else. And now I'll get to. So, anonymous writer, thank you for the suggestion.
Yeah. Man, I'm pretty good at this. I've practiced a lot in Yakuza.
Oh yeah, doing lots of claw machine stuff.
Oh yeah, like there's a side quest where you got to get a toy for a little boy to make his day, and I was like, damn it, I'm doing all the side quests. So I spent a good 2 hours learning the mechanics of the claw machine.
Yeah. And it's entirely possible that this is a different game than I'm thinking of, but I thought I played this on phones. It might be.
I feel
different.
like Bo is gonna one day publish a book that's like how I planned for my life by playing Yakuza. And it's just going to be a series of life lessons he learned and built up by playing that series of games.
Yep.
And you know what? I support it. That's not me making fun. Yakuza definitely makes
it
you
has
think
a lot of
about
heart, man. Yeah,
the mundane of our world in a fantastic way. So it's awesome.
I got to get back to that Infinite Wealth game. That was a long hiatus.
That's been
you
a
also
while.
should play the Cyberpunk DLC, Bo. It's very
good.
Yeah.
You got to get to that too. Thanks for the reminder. Yeah.
You're part of the $19 billion problem, Bo, with that one. Just laying there. Not getting used.
I bought it and haven't played it. What's wrong with me?
Yeah. Did someone ask him at the debates tonight, what are we going to do about this $19 billion deficit of games no one's played yet that are in their Steam libraries?
Can you imagine? I mean, we laugh. We probably will be gone by the time this happens, but one of those guys is going to be a presidential candidate. Like I don't know who, and judging by how you can pretty much be a felon and run, it could be Dr. Mustache, Asmongold, or Pokimane. She's great, actually. She'd be probably pretty good, but one of those people you're looking at and laughing at and going like, "What a shitter." They're going to be running your country one of these days, probably.
They got influence, yeah. Dr. Mustache is president. I don't know, man.
I think we should send XQC up to be Canada's prime minister because Bo would have a field
there you go.
that.
It won't happen. He won't. Canadian politics is a different beast.
It's well documented how Bo feels about XQC. I think that's who we need to send to Canada to run for political office.
I mean, one man child to another. I really shouldn't throw stones, but he is quite the
a very popular man child.
Not working with a lot of French fries, you know what I mean? Like somebody spilled his Happy Meal on the way to delivery. But But Canadian politics is a different thing than American politics. You guys are showboaters and grandiose and have big plans for people. You got to be boring as shit to. Like right now, our right wing politicians are trying to be like Trump, but they just come off lame as hell because they're not him. Just it's bad. It's
Let me tell you something. I would kill for some boring politics in our country. I would love it.
maybe. I don't know why, but Americans people like love to talk shit about Trudeau, and it's just like he's not that bad. Like
No, we like to do that because we're divided on everything, but
I
I
think
wish
every one of them is kind of just a boring lump, and people try to make it bigger than it is. But I'm constantly in awe of what happens in your country. I'm just like, wow, so extra.
Yeah.
Sorry, we shouldn't be bringing it up. What was the point?
I don't know.
I can't remember.
The point is,
we
the point is that Dungeon Crawler looks awesome. That's
Oh
Yes,
my
that's
gosh, the name bugs me so much.
you're not going to be able to get past that name. I think I'm going to get it though. I was wrong. It's not the Apple game I played. This is something else, and it looks rad. I love weird shit as ways to play an RPG, and other examples include, hell, in some ways, Hearthstone is this. In a basic way, but it's also based on a lot of card games. But games where it's like a roulette wheel is the mechanic, or poker is the mechanic, or something other than I just have a sword and you have a shield and now let's do the math. I don't know why. I don't know why.
My favorite pickup line in medieval times. You have a sword, I have a shield. Let's do the math.
Let's do the math. Are you gonna block me tonight, baby? Well, anyway, that is now wishlisted. I'm excited about it. Thank you so much. All right, Blake from New York City with our final text. He says, "For Core, wondering if Bo has played Bellwright. Looks like something he might enjoy. Bo, have you tried the game Bellwright?"
I haven't added a game to my will play but never play lists in a while. Let's see what this one's about.
It looks like let's see. Looks like a settlement creator deal. A little bit of Manor Lord vibe to me. Although it looks like it's way more third person. You're not really pulled out. Here, I'll read what it says if I can get my eyes straight. Establish and expand your own settlements, liberate the land and assist its villagers, and recruit others to your cause while learning more about the life you had to leave behind. Command your forces, prove your valor through combat, and cement yourself as the hero of your people.
It looks kind of dope.
It looks all right. It does look.
It looks like it's not really like a top-down isometric whatever city builder.
Yeah.
It looks like, maybe a Skyrim style or Kingdom Come Deliverance.
Their categories are survival, open world, crafting, medieval, and RPG. So I don't know what that means, but it could be.
Combat looks like it might be a bit on the rough side right now, but it still might be fun. But yeah, this is low it doesn't look like there's orcs or anything in it. It's just low magic humans. Build a settlement, defend your settlement.
Seems all right.
I don't know. Together or with your friends has the multiplayer. I don't know.
I'm gonna wish
whack a bear. I don't think there's bear sex, but you can whack a bear.
Do they? Are they full of runes and they will kill me when I see them?
Oh, rune bears. They're the worst.
Interesting.
Wishlist that shit, man.
Yeah, I'll put it on the wish list. That wish list is so big.
I know. I gotta. Every once in a while, I'm like, I should go trim my wish list, and I get in there and go, I can't do this. It's too much.
There's so many games on this damn wish list, and I'm like, I haven't played the games I got.
Yeah.
I'm wishing for other games.
We have a problem. All right.
That being said, Space Marine, baby, give it to me now. Come on, Space Marine devs, I need that shit.
Here is. Oh
I
yeah.
will delete all other games once that game comes out.
Yep, I'll clean my whole hard drive out when that's out. When's that still? November? September.
Is it November? 9 September. Not much longer, guys.
Yeah.
In 2 months. Yeah, roughly a little over 2 months. We're gonna be getting to some 3-player co-op.
Do you think the orcs? Because the orcs in the last one were like Space Marine and all that. The Illithids. No, what are they called? Tyranids aren't. They're not going to be very vocal. So I'm a little worried that it's going to be missing some of that orc charm.
It won't when we play together because I will be constantly going Space Marine.
Oh, good.
While we play.
Good.
Yeah, I think there will be Chaos Legion in there somewhere, so there still should be some voice lines.
You'll be our orc with a K. John, that'll be your job.
I can't help it. Anytime I play a Space Marine, you say the word, I just think it.
Yeah.
Space Marine. I'm trying not to overhype myself, but they've only shown the Tyranids, right?
Yeah. You got to assume there's more to it than just.
There's more to the game. One would hope.
Just swarms of Tyranids seems crazy. If it just can't be all that. It's got to be more than that.
I hope so.
Here is a quick phone call. It's a voicemail left by a listener, and here it is.
So, I was wondering if this ever happens to you guys. Recently, I've been watching more videos about a game that I should be playing instead of watching the videos, and I'm watching more videos than I'm screwing this up. Then I would be playing the game. If that makes any sense. All right, love the show. Thank you.
Wow, that was a very.
I love that call.
Yeah, I'm screwing this up. Yeah, buddy.
That was me with Dragon Age. Like, I wanted to play through all the Dragon Age games. Instead, I watched like probably a cumulative 8 hours of lore videos and was like, all right, I'm good. I think I'm done for now.
Yep.
And while I have played a crazy amount of Elden Ring, I have watched an equally crazy amount of Elden Ring lore videos. So, the balance is maybe a little bit more there. I don't tend to watch people's playthroughs to scratch that itch. I tend to want to actually play the game myself, but certainly consuming video content can be good when you have choice paralysis on a game.
Yeah, I agree. And it happens to me sometimes. I did go, just as a side note, I bought Inquisition. I think I own it like in 4 places. But I bought it because it's on sale on Steam now, and I never had the Steam version, for $3.99 currently. So
wow. It's
currently on a steep discount. What is the previous price? It's normally $39.99, 90% off, $3.99. Well, thank you for that. If you guys want to send your own voicemails in, 801-471-0462, text can go to the same place. And if you'd rather email us, you can do talktothecore@gmail.com. That is going to be just about it for us. Before we go, though, quick mention of some patrons. Jason T. and Chris Ike, I think is how you say it. These guys joined us. Yeah, you got to yell it. It sounds German. Anyway, they are real new folks over here on our Patreon. They get no commercials. You get cool stuff in the mail in the form of art and other things. You also get these bonus host shows that Bo just did 2 of. I've got one coming out real quick here. So in the next little bit, you guys are going to be begging for us to stop. There's going to be a lot of extra content, but I think good, thoughtful stuff that you're going to want to hear. So check those out. If you think any of this sounds interesting, head on over to patreon.com/core show today. Everything else is at frogpants.com/core. And I think it's time for us to tell Grandma to have her way with us. Grandma, take it away. What did we play this week?
You'd think that on a show this long, there'd be a whole lot of games for them to talk about, but no, they just sort of talked about one for 2.5 hours, so Elden Ring is probably the video game you're wondering what they talked about, and it was for pretty much ever that they talked about.
Grandma, there was a DLC. They might not know about the DLC.
Yet they played the Elden Ring and all the content associated with it. Scott also played Wayfinder and Armored Core 6. And John wrote Final Fantasy 14, but I know him and he didn't play it. I'm going to tell you, he was playing Elden Ring. He's lying to you.
He's a big freaking liar. And then, Bo, you just played Elden Ring. That was it. I keep looking at the orc massage I made up, but I keep referring to it as if you did it. I got to quit. I shouldn't put that.
I didn't play orc massage. Just Elden Ring.
Scott created a lie and then believed the lie.
That's because I have that. My brain is trained to look at the list and go, wait a minute. No, he played something else. Oh, shit. I made that up.
No, that game is a journey. You better get going.
Yep. Get in there.
Playing that game
get
if you
that
want
happen.
to get anywhere in that game.
That's true. I got to take that horse guy down. He's really pissing me off.
No, stop focusing on the horse guy.
I know, but I hate him. He needs to go. I'm over by the lake right now. It's fine. I got other shit to do.
Those horse guys are fine to fight. Learning to fight those
keep
guys.
Wandering
are
around the lake. There's lots of treasure in the lake.
Okay. All right, I need some gear. Is what I need. Can I get some gear in the lake?
We'll find gear in the lake. Yeah.
All right.
Twin blades in the lake.
Lake run. Doing a lake run.
Yeah,
all right. Well, that's it for us. Thank you all for listening, being here, hanging out, and being a part of today's show. Be here on Thursdays live at 5 p.m. Mountain Time if you'd like to watch live. Thanks to our live audience. You guys have been great as always. We hope we helped distract you from these stupid debates. That's going to do it for us. For me, for John, for Bo. We'll see you next time.
This show is part of the Frog Pants Network. Yes. Get more at frogpants.com.
The Mad Taint.
Yeah, Mad Taint.
Oh.
Yeah.
No,
Nobody think it's mad. Let me know.
I'm going to put this as a regular thing. We're going to use that all the time.